Good morning. This is Trevor with Carrot getting going on today's. I'm crazy pumped about today's call, by the way. It's my annual epic planning call. I mean, to make sure technology's working here. I'm also going to try, see if I won't mess it up here. I'm going to try to do a Facebook Live at the same time. Should be pretty sweet. Okay. Righty, y'all. Can you guys see me? Can you guys hear me? There should be a little chat box here somewhere on the bottom right side of where you're watching this. I'm gonna pump my stand-up desk up here. If you guys can let me know in the questions panel really quick, if you can see me, if you can hear me, if the audio is coming through good, that would be amazing. Then we know technology's working and we can roll. Let me get my desk up a little bit higher. Cool. There's bunches of people piling in here. So guys and gals, let me know if you guys can see me and hear me in the questions box there to the right. I'm going to ping my team, make sure things are set them up. Okay, cool. Just want to make sure that the technology is set up for the chat boxes. We're going to be doing a lot of interaction, a lot of back and forth. And my goal today, I'm crazy pumped because this is my favorite webinar of the year. My favorite webinar of the year. And I do lots of them. Actually, didn't do a whole lot of them this year. I did one a couple months ago, but I usually do a ton of them. Okay, let me make sure I've got the right one here. Live webinar. Cool, got it. Sweet, I'm on the right one now. Now, let me bring this over here. All right, sweet. So we've got it. Looks like there's a bunch of people. You can see me, you can hear me. And let me know before we dig in, let me know where you guys are calling in from. Let me know where you're calling in from. Let me know if you're a Carrot customer or not. It doesn't matter if you're a Carrot customer. We open this up to everyone, including our local entrepreneur community here. Let me know where you're calling in from. Looks like Betty, thank you very much for letting us know that it sounds good. Cool. Let me know where you guys are calling in from. Sweet. Thanks, Paul. Los Angeles, Eddie in LA. Awesome. Who's in Roseburg? So who is this in Roseburg? Let me know. Someone just popped through Roseburg. Sweet. I love it when there's people local here because it's something I'm just way passionate about is I really, really genuinely feel my purpose in life, or one of my core purposes in life, is to really amplify leaders, because it's the leaders that go out there and lead businesses, that change communities, that go out there and do those things that actually create change in the world. So the more that I can help unleash you this next year, the more that I can help do that, the more I'm pumped about it. And I don't care if you're a customer of ours, if you're in Roseburg, outside of Roseburg, doesn't matter to me. I want you to go out there and take this, clarify what you're going to be tackling this next year, and create real change. Create real change. Follow your passion with your business this next year. Okay. Virginia Beach, Virginia. Awesome. Willis, what's up, man? St. Louis, cold. Toledo. Awesome. Thanks, guys. You can hear me. Looks like it's working good. People from all over the place. Virginia. Let's see. Awesome. Carrot customer, Joy. Dallas, Texas. Cool. I mean, you guys are calling in from all over the place. Pittsburgh, Western Pennsylvania. Okay, cool. I'm going to clear these out. Looks like you guys are all over the place, even some international, which I love. So I'm going to dig in here. And this right here, I'm going to launch a Facebook Live as well. This right here is something that I do every single year. And every single year, the process honestly changes, because as life changes, as business changes, man, it's just something that is so fulfilling to try to find out how can we go and adjust the way that we plan out our life. This isn't just the year. We're talking about planning out our life. How do we adjust the way that we plan out our life to where we have the best chance of succeeding in that, to where we have the best chance of happiness, to where we have the best chance of really making the impact that you want to make. Sutherland, awesome. What's up, Luke? Dude, I need to hit you back to the note. I was gone on Christmas vacay the whole time. And today's webinar day, I was just really focused in on it. So come down to the office, dude, if you want to. Come down to the office like at 3:30 today and grab a beer with us if you want to, man. All right, sweet. Bunch of Carrot customers. So I'm gonna launch this Facebook Live. I've never done this before. I've never done the Facebook Live and the YouTube Live at the same time. So we'll see if it crashes the circuits on here or not. Let's see. It could be the best idea in the world or the worst idea in the world. Let's see right here. Okay, cool. So going live on Facebook as we speak as well. All right, awesome. So everyone on Facebook, you're joining the crew from the rest of the world actually over on YouTube right now, and we're kind of doing like a little simulcast. So if you guys say that it's slowing down the video at all, we'll shut down the YouTube we'll shut down the Facebook version of it. We'll send everyone over to the YouTube version. So if you're popping in here, Levi, what's up, dude? If you're popping in here and you are on Facebook, go over to oncarrot.com/epic. I put the link in there, and I'm actually doing the full call live on YouTube as we speak. So if anything cuts out on Facebook, pop over there. And also over there is where you're going to be able to get the downloads for my annual planning process. It's basically taken us from 10 years ago, just making, not very much money at all and not being very fulfilled and not really knowing what I was wanting to do in life and really having a process to tackle it, to now the last 3, 4, 5 years, my income has 10x'd, well into the 7 figures now per year. That's net taxable income. Okay. And I'm not saying that for bragging. I'm saying that because I was stuck at a low 6-figure income, mid 6-figure income for probably 5 or 6 years. And I couldn't figure out why I couldn't crack through that. I couldn't figure out why I couldn't crack through my personal goals, like my fitness goals. That's just something just recently we've started to crack. And I'm going to walk you through exactly how I do this in each year before the year starts. I already went through the process myself the past month and a half. And then I'm also going to walk you through how to best kind of make sure you're keeping on track with that as you go throughout the year. So if you're over on Facebook, head over through that link, oncarrot.com/epic. Join us on the YouTube side, because I'm going to be shutting the Facebook side off here in about 10 to 15 minutes. And then you guys are going to have to go check out the rest of it over live on YouTube with us. All right, so I'm going to dig in. And I'm going to share my slides on the YouTube side of things. You guys are going to be able to see the slides here right now. And actually, I'm going to be talking about this picture right here, the very first slide here. You guys are going to be able to see, because it's very important. It's very important why I have certain images, why I have certain things behind me. Okay, it's crazy important. So I'm just going to go and share my screen, and let me know on the YouTube side of things if you guys can see my screen, and you can see the slides that popped up now. I'm going to get rid of a bunch of these things in here because I can see you guys are calling in from all over, but I can't see. Awesome. Thanks, Joy. Yeah, let me know if you guys can see my slides now. Okay. If you can see my slides, sweet, we're going to roll. So this right here is, one second. There we go. Sweet. My annual planning and epic year webinar. All right. And once again, if you're on the Facebook side of things, go over to oncarrot.com/epic, and you can join us and actually see the slides, see the documents, download my annual planning document. And this right here that everyone can see on the YouTube version is the most recent canvas that I put up in my office. And every single year, I always try to surround myself with the environment that's going to help me put my mindset in the right spot. And I'm going to walk you through the newly updated. So even if you've watched the last 2 years of our Planning an Epic Year call, every single year it changes, it improves, it refines. Part of it's because my team is growing. We're 16 full-time people. We're going to be up over 20 people probably by March or so. So that changed the dynamic. So when you have a staff of people, the way you plan is going to affect the way that your company has to plan. So I'm going to walk you through how I've done that as we're scaling up our team. But also I'm going to walk you through what's changed just in my life in general. And this right here is kind of my theme for this next year. My theme for last year, if you're on Facebook, you can see the picture back there. Action expresses priorities. That was my theme for 2017. Was I knew that going into that year, there was a lot of things I was saying that I wanted to do. There's a lot of things I said were important to me. These goals, this thing in life, more time with family, but I wasn't taking the actions to actually do it. So what was happening was I knew that even though I said these things were important, I'd put them on a piece of paper and I'd say that they were a goal, my actions didn't line up with that, showing that they were actually important. So that was my theme for this year. How do I make sure to be intentional, getting more family time, stopping work at 3:30 so I can go pick up my daughter and then hang out with my family? How do I actually make sure that I build in more intentionality with my team and growing leaders here, not just me kind of, going rogue off on my own? So now this next year is this. The ultimate goal of an entrepreneur isn't money. It's complete control over your time. Because it's so easy as entrepreneurs, it's so easy as not even entrepreneurs, just anyone living their life, that we go after, we chase the income, we chase the paycheck, we chase those things thinking that that's going to make us happy. But at the end of the day, you're going to be no more happy if you have $1 million in the bank versus if you have 10,000 in the bank. Okay, it's all between your ears. It's all between your ears and what you do with that time. And also, I've seen so many businesses, myself included, I've seen so many people actually get trapped in the business that they created. And it actually makes it so you're more shackled in your business than you were with the job. And that's not what you want to have. I didn't want to have that. And I created that. It's like the worst feeling in the world to wake up in the morning. And this was 6-7 years ago, actually 2010 through 12, to wake up in the morning knowing that you don't want to do the work in the job that you had created because it shackled you. You couldn't do anything. And I'm going to walk you through how to make sure that doesn't happen. So I suggest that you guys come up with a theme for the year. I'm going to talk about this in a little bit more detail here in a bit, but surround yourself with that theme. If you have to, get a little quote box up there, get canvases up there. My room is full of canvases, okay? And I want to start with this. We always start with this here at Carrot. We start with weekly doses of awesomeness. And we get these things every single day. We got over 500 doses of awesomeness from our clients this year. And it's one way that we keep our mindset in the right way. It's one way that we keep our mindset in a positive way. Is we want to make sure, hey, let's field all this amazing energy and let's wrap ourselves in that amazing energy. This right here, Caleb. And we had people make a lot more money than Caleb. Okay, a lot more money. But the thing here, this was a mental mindset leap for Caleb, where he was in college. He was saying, you know, I just made about $60,000 in 2017 doing wholesaling on the side. My school is almost over. This will be my full-time gig now. You guys help me go from worrying what job I'll get out of college to not only knowing, to not only knowing what job I'll have, but not having to worry about barely making it. I'm most excited for the master course, blah, blah, blah. So what he was talking about was he made a mental mindset shift. He was about to enter the job world, and he knew that that wasn't right for him. And what we've helped him do is we helped him unlock a new potential in life. He sees new potential in life now. And if you're tuning in on the Facebook side, I'm going to turn this off here in about 5 minutes. So head over to oncarrot.com/epic. Join us live over in YouTube where there's hundreds of people over there, and you're going to be able to get our downloads. You're going to be able to get over there, okay? So pop over there. And if you're having a problem with the player here on YouTube, there's a fuzzy screen. There's a little gear down on the bottom right. Click that gear, and it's going to help you turn on the HD settings. That's going to clear it up. Okay, so we're going to get going. So this may be you. And the reason I'm saying this stuff, guys and gals, is because this was me. Like, these all came out of my story and my journey. Okay, this isn't something that I'm making up. So this may be you. You may be a high-achieving entrepreneur and don't want to settle for living an average life. You may feel like you're working your butt off, but not getting closer to your ultimate goals. You may be setting goals for the next year, but by March you forget about them because you're not really making big progress. You have that thing in the wall and you rip it down because it's not motivating now. It's actually defeating. You then let your life choose what you're going to spend your time on. Okay, you find yourself saying yes to almost any opportunity that looks good and is profitable, but you end up overwhelming yourself. You start each day feeling overwhelmed at everything you have to do and the little time you have to do it, especially if we have kids. Willis, who's on this call, he's a local entrepreneur here. Him and I have kids, and a lot of other people do, and it can be very overwhelming sometimes. You wish that finally one of your businesses or one of your ideas would finally grow to its full potential rather than just kind of being decent leveling off. I was like that for 3 or 4 years. And it's not a good spot to be in. Okay, not a good spot to be in at all. And this may be you too right here. Okay. Come on, slides, technology. Catch up with me here. There we go. You're able to achieve more, but can't figure out how to crack through that wall. Okay, that was me going into Carrot. I knew that there is more that I could impact the world. I knew that there was a bigger business I could build. I knew that there was more income, more happiness, more health. But for some reason, I could never crack through it. And it didn't make sense to me. I was doing the annual planning process. I was doing this. I was visualizing, but why wasn't it working? I'm going to walk you through what made it work for me. Okay, you may be growing a team, but you're more overwhelmed now than before that you started growing the team. And the whole reason growing a team should be to make you less overwhelmed, to make you so you can focus more and more on your unique abilities, the things that fire you up, the things that you're insanely good at, the things that not only could you be world class at, but give you energy. But instead of that, you're focusing on all these things that zap your energy, and you're more overwhelmed with your team than you were without. And you might even be thinking, you know what? I want to go back to be a solo entrepreneur, just me and one person. I can tell you that's likely not the answer. It's a byproduct of a bad planning process and a bad execution process during the year. And I'm going to show you how to solve that. I'm going to show you how I did it. And you always sabotage yourself in your goals, but you don't know why. Okay. Every single one of these things were me. Every single one of these things sometimes creep back up into my life, and I have to have a framework to get them out. Okay. Every single one of these things. So I'm going to walk you through exactly what I do. And many of you guys have heard my journey. I'm not going to talk about my journey here. I've talked about it on every single Epic Planning call. It's in the Carrot Cast everywhere. So if you want to hear my journey, go over there. But basically the cliff notes of it. was I went from unfocused and meandering, making a decent income, but unfocused and meandering and really busy, really, really busy, to focused, intentional, happy. My income went up 10x. Our impact went up 10x. We have an amazing team. And while I'm not going to say this process is perfect, okay, especially as we're going through this process right now with our Carrot team, there's some things that are broken that you have to change when you're just planning for yourself versus planning for a full team. And those are things we're learning. So when you tune in for next year's Epic Planning Call, you're going to learn how we've waded through that over 2018. How do we now build up leaders in our team so those leaders go out there and amplify the vision? That's something you're going to learn this next year, how we're wading through that. Okay, but this right here is brand new from any planning call I've ever done. And if you're on the Facebook side of things, hop over to oncarrot.com/epic right now. Join the call live over there. I'm actually going to be shutting off the Facebook version of it right now. But what I'm showing is my 5-step process to an epic year, and it's a new framework I created this year. This is brand new this year. It's something we're following. Go over to oncarrot.com/epic, and I'm going to shut this call off on Facebook, and I'm going to bounce just over to YouTube. All right, head over there right now. Okay, Facebook is done. YouTube, got my full attention, y'all. All right, let's hit this. So right now, this is brand new. And if you were to tune in last year we dove into some of the same things, but the problem was I didn't really have a clear flow and a clear process. And one thing that I've learned is oftentimes the framework is what makes the thing work. Okay, the framework makes the thing work. And in too many times we kind of go through life or through business or through a planning process just on our gut, and we don't really have a framework that we can repeat and repeat and repeat and repeat and refine. And so the thing that I always like to do now, and this is just kind of a combination of all the things I've learned over the years, is at the very base of having a successful life, at the very base of having a successful year is mindset. Okay, and yep, everyone's asking for the downloads. The downloads are actually going to be on the page you're on. So like right below where you're at right now, there should be 2 of the downloads that you're going to be able to get. You can download them now, but you're not going to have the context for how to use them until later. Okay, so we're going to be walking through that here in a bit. But the first thing that we always have to tighten down, guys and gals, is our mindset. Now, this is so important. I'm going to be diving into mindset stuff quite a bit here in a bit, but this isn't anything new that you've heard. This isn't anything new like, mindset, oh my gosh, that's a new concept for me. But I can tell you, I don't care how successful you are, I don't care how much money you make, I don't care how happy you are right now, you're always going to be going through a roller coaster in your life. It's going to look like the stock market. You hope that your life happiness and your life income trends upward over a long period of time, but inevitably, just like popular stocks, you're going to have those troughs. You're going to have the times where you sink down. And during those times where you sink down is when you need a framework. It's when you need the mindset side of things, because it's easy to be positive. It's easy to be successful when things are going great. Okay, but what happens when that mindset, that ironclad mindset becomes not great anymore? That's when the trough gets deeper. The trough gets deeper. You can't dig yourself out. It takes longer to dig out. And I'm going to show you some of the kind of my mindset hacks to make sure I dig out of those faster, because they happen. I had one happen just several weeks ago and only lasted like a day and a half this time versus 3 years like the one back in the day. Okay, so it all works up. It works up from mindset. Then we're going to dig into the life planning. Then we're going to dig into annual planning, how to break it down by quarter. And then I'm going to show you exactly what I do on a daily basis to make sure that as I'm planning my life in this way, from mindset, life, annual, quarter, on the execution side of it, everything flows down into life, and the mindset's the foundation of everything. If you're not spending at least 10 to 20 minutes, at least at minimum, if you're not spending at least 10 to 20 minutes a day doing this, if you're not spending 10 to 20 minutes a day working on your mindset, and you're surfing around Facebook, you're surfing around this, you're surfing around that, I can guarantee you it's going to take you longer to dig out of your lows. You're not going to have as much highs. You're not going to be as happy. Okay, you're not going to be able to inspire people around you if you're not working on your mindset every single day. People will work on their Farmville farm longer than they work on their positive mindset. Okay, so here it is. Let's break it down. So this is the way that we're going to walk through this right here. Okay, we're going to walk through this right here. First of all, the mindset practices your biggest asset, and it can be your biggest enemy as well. Yep, you'll get access to the PowerPoint slides as well, guys. I'll give you downloads to this on the replay page. So make sure you're on our email list. We'll email out the replay probably tonight or tomorrow, and you'll get the downloads of the slides over there as well. Clarifying your life vision is next, because This is one mistake I made in a big way. I would dig in and start to plan out the next year, but honestly, I wasn't crazy pumped about a vision in life that I had in my brain. I'm like, this is where I'm going in life. And it's impossible to plan out a good year that you're going to be content with and you're going to be insanely pumped about at the end of the year if you don't know where you want to go in life. And everything goes together once again. Mindset is the foundation of all of it. But you can't plan out a great year unless you have your life plan clarified. You can't plan out a great quarter and actually execute on a quarter by quarter basis if you don't know what you're supposed to be doing that year that leads into you being living your ideal life. And you have no way in heck on knowing what you're supposed to do on a daily basis if you have no clue what your mission is for the quarter, how that leads into your annual plan, and how that leads into your life. There's just no way. So then next, we're going to show you how to create an ironclad yearly plan, keeping course during the year, because that's the hardest. That's the thing I have the hardest part with. I love the planning side of it because it's exciting, it's visionary, it's stuff that, man, it's like, yes, that excites me. Okay, where I struggle, and I think a lot of you guys struggle too, is once you get into the year, man, it's so easy to get knocked off course. It's so easy to get knocked off course. It's so hard to stay the course. It's so hard to know what your priority is on the daily basis or on the weekly basis. It's so easy to have other distractions pop up. Okay, then last, I'm going to talk about crafting a winning environment. And this is part that I always put in our epic planning calls because a winning environment to me is like one of the most important things. This feeds the mindset. This feeds everything else because the winning environment, where you work and where you live, I can tell you, is going to make a massive difference on your income. It's going to make a massive difference on your happiness. It's going to make a massive difference on the type of people you can attract to your vision. And it's going to make a huge difference on your daily positivity. Okay. So if you aren't controlling the environment you're working in and crafting a winning environment, you're going to be struggling. I'm going to show you how I do that. All right. So time for a mindset reset. And this is what we're going to do is we're going to help you focus on what's actually important in the whole grand scheme of things. And this is so awesome. Here at Carrot, like I said, we have a full-time team of 16 people. We probably have another 7 or 8 people who are contractors here that work a lot of their hours with us. And we're going to be hiring another 4 to 5 people here in the coming months. And one of my team members, Janelle, who was a Carrot customer, this right here is what pumps me up about business. Okay, is finding amazing people who are leaders and bringing them into the fold so we can unleash them in this vehicle. And Janelle and Pete actually sent this last week. They sent a box to our office, and that big box had a little box for every single person on the team here. And we opened it up, and it was a little Christmas gift from Janelle and Pete. And one of them was a calendar, an amazing note, and then this mug. And this mug, I've got it on my desk as we speak. It says, "Thoughts become things. Choose the good ones." Thoughts become things. Choose the good ones. Yeah, Tyler says she is awesome. Dude, she's amazing. So if thoughts become things, and we need to choose the good ones, what are we putting into our brain? What are those thoughts that go into our brain? Because those thoughts that go into our brain are going to 100% dictate what you do today. Those thoughts in your brain are going to dictate how happy you are. They're going to dictate how frustrated you are. They're going to dictate whether you hold grudges. They're going to dictate your progress in life and business. Those thoughts that are going on in your brain are the things that are going to dictate exactly where you are going to be this time next year. And if you're going to look back this time next year and say, man, that was an amazing year. That year was exactly what I wanted it to be. That year achieved this, and I accomplished this, and I felt this, and I made an impact here. What thoughts do you need to put in your brain today and tomorrow and the next day and the next day? And even when you're feeling down, what thoughts need to be put in your brain in order to ensure that a year from now, you're looking back going, man, that was an amazing year? And also, what thoughts do you need to yank out of your brain? What negativity is coming in there? Are you spending too much time on Facebook reading people's political crap? Are you spending too much time, looking on people's Instagram and feeling bad about yourself? Whatever it is that you're doing is influencing your thoughts. I once was at an amazing live event, and this was down in Silicon Valley. It was probably 4 or 5 years ago. And Darren Hardy, the publisher of Success Magazine, was there, and he was up on stage. And I wish I would have got a visual for this, but I tried to do the visual of this at a college talk that I was doing. I totally bombed it. But I'll walk you through it. I'll walk you through it verbally. He was up on stage and he had a crystal clear pitcher of water. And that pitcher of water represents our brains. It's this vessel that is filled with what you pour into it. That's all that our brains are. It's a vessel filled with what you pour into it. Okay. And then what he did was he said, okay, this is your crystal clear, your vessel, your brain. Then he took out some food coloring, and drop by drop, he dripped some food coloring into that crystal clear water. And you can imagine what happens, right? Immediately, that water becomes cloudy, becomes murky, and the black The black food coloring just represents the negative influences. It's the news media. It's the people that are negative in your life. It's the negative self-talk that creeps up in your life. All those things. Okay. And then what happens is when we let that happen on a daily basis and we're not continually pouring new clean water in, your brain becomes foggy. There's no way you're going to be able to think bigger. There's no way you're going to be able to attract the right people. There's no way you're going to be able to know what you should do today so you can actually achieve what you think you want in life. There's no way. And I was in that 5-6 years ago, and still sometimes today we fall into that. We all do. The key is, how do you get back out? Well, the way you get back out is by pouring the right things in. So what he then did is he took a bigger pitcher of water and slowly started pouring that clean, clear water in. And eventually all of that black ink was gone, and you had a crystal clear water again. So thoughts become things. Choose the good ones. What are you going to choose this week and this next year to pour into your life, to pour into your day? And I'm going to close that loop at the end of this call where I talk about my environment, how to craft a winning environment to create those positive thoughts on a daily basis. Okay. But I want you to hold this in your brain throughout the rest of this webinar. Okay. So you want to clear your minds for the important things. Okay. On a daily basis, we're barraged by 35,000 plus your remotely conscious decisions that we have to make. Okay. Children have to make like 3,000 decisions a day. This is a day. This is, what am I going to wear? What am I going to eat? How am I going to walk in the front door? Where am I going to park? You know, do I jump over that curb or do I not? Things like that. Like every single thing that we're doing is taking brain power to make decisions on. Right. And one of the things I learned, this is 5 or 6 years ago, when I was in that, when I was in that trough, I was not happy. My income was decent, but I was not happy. I hit a glass ceiling. I could see other people up there, but I couldn't find my way to crack through. Okay. What was happening is we're making all these decisions, and it locks up certain mental capacity in your brain. If you look at Steve Jobs, and I've showed this example before, but it's so important. And even if you've seen this, you need to get through this, because I've adjusted our planning process in a way that's going to really make it simpler for you, but you need to get this. I look at this every single year myself to get a reset. Steve Jobs, you can see he always wore the same thing. Okay. You look at Mark Zuckerberg, it's a very similar. He's got an outfit that's pretty much the same thing. There's other successful people I've seen in life that do something similar. They eat the same foods the whole week. They do this, they do that. The reason they're doing that is to reduce the amount of decisions they have to make. There's something called decision fatigue. And decision fatigue basically makes it to where the more decisions you have to make, the harder it is to have willpower to make the big decisions. And so Steve Jobs chose, I'm just going to wear blue jeans, tennis shoes, and a black shirt every day so I can show up to work, and I'm going to have the mental capacity to where I can make the big decisions. I can use my brain on the things that matter, not just picking clothes, not just picking food. Okay. So I went through and did that same thing in 2011, 2012, not the clothing. My wife would kill me if I would just wear those things every day. But what I did was I tried to get rid of my decision fatigue. And also during that time, I knew that I had to challenge myself with something new. I want to throw this challenge at you guys right now. If you're having a tough time finding your life's purpose, if you're having a tough time finding your life's vision, what I want you to do is make these next 12 months, 2018, I want you to make your vision to be the best you can possibly be at every damn thing in your life that you do. The best father, the best husband or wife, the best mother, the best friend, the best entrepreneur. Focus on one business, not 12. I want you to look back at the end of this next year if you're having trouble with knowing what your purpose is, which that's normal. That's normal. I was then too. And the reason I couldn't find my purpose was because there's so much clutter in my life at that point. So much clutter. And I had to declutter. I had to go, okay, let me pare down the things I'm focusing on. Let me pare down what's taking mental capacity. And one of those things was my dresser drawer. I opened up my dresser drawer one day after I had consciously made that decision to say, hey, this year, my mission in life is to be the best I can possibly be, do the best I can possibly do at everything. So when I look back at the end of the year, I can go, you know what? I am confident I did the best I could do. I did the best I could possibly do at everything. And then I would not be beating myself up anymore about not achieving what I thought I could achieve. I would not be beating myself up anymore about thinking I'm underachieving or, man, why can't I break through this? The reason I couldn't break through is because I was focusing on too many things. That's an oxymoron, right? You can't focus on too many things. It's not focus at all. So I opened up my dresser drawer one day, saw my clothes all disheveled. They'd been like that forever. And I opened up my shirt drawer, and I'm like, man, this is not the best I can do. And I took all my shirts, threw them on the ground, got rid of half of them, folded my shirts, printed shirts on the left, plain shirts on the right. It's that way still to this day. And that was in 2011, 2012. Okay. The rest of my life before that, My shirt drawer was always a mess. My closet was always a mess. My truck was always a mess. Now my truck is still not very clean, but my closet is pristine. My shirt drawer is still folded the exact same way. And several other things in my life, I've done the same thing. I've cleared out the mental clutter. As soon as I did that, I could start to think bigger. And I'm going to be talking about thinking bigger and doing it the way that I do in my life vision story. I'm going to walk you through a very simple process. I just did that about a month ago on an airplane. I did my life vision story. I updated it. Okay, I couldn't even do my life vision story until I cleared the clutter out, until I focused on one business, not four, until I finally made it to where I knew I'm going to do the best I can do at everything. I want to nail the simple things in life. Okay. And with that too, during that year, one of the biggest things that was tripping me up, and I think this is something that still trips me up from time to time, is urgency. You know, we think, well, shoot, you know, we've got forever to do this. And I don't care what age you are, if you're, 65 or 75 or 22 or whatever it is. I think in general, we think, we've got this thing in our mind that the urgency for some reason doesn't happen until it's got to happen. Right. And I know for me during that time period, and I still do this every single year. I just did it at my mastermind in Sedona about 2 months ago with these high level entrepreneurs there, and it changes their perception immediately. These are people making 7 figures in a year. Okay. And I went through this exercise. I'm going to walk you through here in a little bit. The same exercise, it's just a few minutes. Okay. And it completely changes your perspective and creates urgency on the right things. And you've got to recognize your mortality. And the reason I'm going through all this stuff first, a lot of you guys hop on here and you're like, I just want the darn planning documents, right? I can give you the planning documents. They're right there below this video. You can download them, you can bounce. But the thing that's going to happen is I had processes like that before too. But what I didn't have was the mindset. I didn't have my mind in the right way to where I could actually use those well. Okay. So I just feel it'd be a massive injustice if we don't do that first and then dive into the planning process, the physical part of you writing stuff down. Okay. But this is one of my favorite quotes, and I share this every year. It's something we all need to think about. Steve Jobs, before he passed away, said, remembering that I'll be dead soon is the most important tool I'll ever encounter to help me make the big choices in life. Almost everything, all external expectations, all pride, all fear of embarrassment or failure, these things just fall away in the face of death, leaving only what's truly important. Remembering that you're going to die is the best way I know to avoid the trap of thinking that you have something to lose. You're already naked. There's no reason not to follow your heart. No one wants to die. Even people who want to go to heaven don't want to die to get there. And yet death is the destination we all share. No one has ever escaped it. And that's how it should be, because death is very likely the single best invention of life. It's life's change agent. It clears out the old to make way for the new. And when I first heard this quote, I heard it on a public address he did to the Stanford graduation. It floored me. This is right after he gave that address. I think it was 2011 or so that I saw it, 2012. And I realized in that moment, one of the biggest reasons I wasn't accomplishing what I wanted to accomplish each year is because in my mind, I knew there'd be a next year. I knew there'd be a next year. I knew there'd be a next year. And what happens when you always know there's going to be a next year is it's really easy to put that thing off until the next year. And the byproduct of that is something many of you are probably experiencing. The byproduct of it that I experienced was every single year I'd roll over these 3, 4, 5 big goals. Hey, this year I'm going to get in shape. Okay, this year I'm going to do that. This year I'm going to spend more time with family and friends. This year I'm finally going to do this and grow a business past $1 million a year. This year is new. For some reason, this year is new, even though I didn't change any of my practices from before. Right? What Albert Einstein says about that is basically that's the definition of insanity, expecting a different result when you're doing the same thing. So urgency is the key. And I'm not going to dive into this example in full. You guys can go check out a blog post we did about it, where you can check out last year's epic planning call. But there's this blog post on waitbutwhy.com. Go check it out, waitbutwhy.com. And go find it. I think it's called The Long Tail. Look it up, waitbutwhy.com, The Long Tail. And he walks through with these amazing visuals to get us to think about the urgency in life. Okay, this right here represents a 90-year human life. I'm 35 right now, which means I have lived more than 1/3 of these boxes. I think I'm pretty darn young in my brain, right? And I am young. There's a lot of time left. But the thing is, a lot of time has passed by. Urgency needs to be a big part of what you do for this next year. Because if you're not thinking big enough for this next year, because you're not placing the urgency on your life, what's going to happen with your goals? You're probably not going to reach big enough goals. Okay, this right here, let's make this real. Okay, this right here, if you're a 35-year-old person, this represents the number of days that you have with your parents, like in-person days, in person with them. The reason that most of these are X'd out already is because in your first 18 years of your life, you're with your parents every day. What happens is you move out of state, whatever happens, your days with your parents, your days with your loved ones dwindle. They go down. My parents live 3 hours away. I just got back from their place, but I might only go to Klamath Falls 4 or 5 times a year. They come up here 4 or 5 times a year, so I might only see them 10 to 15 times a year. And my parents just turned in their 60s. So what's happening is this right here represents the amount of time that I've got with my parents. So how do I make sure that I'm intentional this next year and have that urgency to go out there and do those things that we know that need to be done? That needs to be put in our planning. I'm going to walk you through how to do that. And one thing that I did for Christmas presents in the past couple of years, I need to fulfill on it now, is I didn't give like physical gifts a year ago. What we did was, hey, Mom, we're going to go watch a play and go grab dinner and stay overnight somewhere. Hey, Dad, we're going to go somewhere on a boys trip. We're going to start to plan these annual events. Okay, that's such a big part of your planning. And the reason I want to show this right here is I don't want everyone to be scared and like, oh my gosh, half of my life is over. That's not it at all. Colonel Sanders started KFC and he was like 65. Okay. Ford Motor Company, he started, I think, in 35 to 40, something like that. So everyone has so much time. There's so many big businesses that were built by people in their 40s, 50s, 60s, even 70s. It doesn't matter. Okay, there's a lot of time. And to give you some context on how much can happen in a year, this is just one example from a client of ours. This is his first year in business, first full year in business. He was a school teacher and a baseball coach or softball coach for 13 years, was hesitating on starting his business, on chasing his dream. He finally said, you know what, I'm going to go into 2017 and I'm going to finally jump and I'm going to finally make this decision to go. And he did. And this is a text message I got from him about 3 weeks ago. $611,000 in revenue his first year in business. There's so many people in business that struggle to get their first deal done or the first whatever done or their first 100,000 in revenue in their first year. And it has nothing to do with your ability. It has nothing to do with the market. It has nothing to do with you can't find the business. It has everything to do with what's between your ears, what you think is possible. Brian saw what was possible. He went out and chased it. So you can achieve staggering results in a short amount of time if you do this, if you focus. This is a graphic from a book, an amazing book called Essentialism. I suggest you grab the book if you haven't already. But as soon as I saw this graphic, I shut the book and I was done with it because this graphic is what did it for me. And if you've seen this before, amazing. You need to recenter yourself in this for the next year. That's why I show this graphic every year because it's so important. I look at it every year. Is every year I take stock on what I did that year and what I'm currently doing. What's taking my energy right now? And I do something called the energy audit. I'm going to give you a download to the energy audit. It's actually on the page you're on. I'm going to walk you through how to use the energy audit here in a bit. Okay. But the energy audit basically goes through and go, what am I putting my energy into? Okay. And what happens is we all oftentimes get in this point in our life where we're doing all kinds of stuff. You're doing this, you're doing 4 businesses, you're trying these 3 strategies, you're doing this, you're doing that. You got this thing with your kids, you got this thing with your kids, you're trying to do whatever it is. Every single thing takes energy. And our life ends up looking like this. We're putting energy into all these different things, but we can only go so far with them. You can't really go as deep and do them as well as you want to. But what happens if you were to take all that energy and put it towards one thing? What if you could put all of your energy towards one business or one marketing strategy this next year to master? Or what if you could put most of your energy towards one thing? Maybe it doesn't have to be all of it. I want to show you something here. This line is the exact same length as all of these lines combined. And this is what we do in our lives is we put so much energy into all these different things. We start things, we stop things, we've got things halfway done. It's the same amount of energy that if we got focused and focused on one thing, you could really take something big. That's what we did with Carrot. That year in 2012, I said, you know what? I'm going to stop having energy in these 4 or 5 businesses. I got rid of 2 of my businesses. I sold my shares in 2. One of them I said I'm either going to buy the business or I'm going to step away from. And then once all that was clear, I said, I'm going to focus on this one business this year. Just one this year. Just one. I'm going to do all I can do. I'm going to see how big I can grow it this year. And if it's something that seems like it's catching hold and it's something that excites us and has a big vision, I'll do it. I'll do it again in another year. And that another year has turned into another year. And I do that same thing every single year. Even today with Carrot, with thousands of customers and millions of revenue, I look at it and go, okay, what can I focus all my energy into related to Carrot? And is this business still the thing that's going to help make the biggest impact in the world that we know we can make? And the answer so far has been yes, enthusiastically yes. And because of that focus, we've taken something to where before my biggest businesses were $500,000, $750,000, and it took years to build. This business built way faster, way bigger, and it's going to keep on growing because we've chose to harness our energy into one thing. So are you using your time wisely while you have it? Are you getting scattered? Are you putting energy in a lot of different directions or in one thing? And I'm prefacing the whole planning process with this right here, because before you dive in and start writing things down for the next year, you need to have that mindset around that. Okay. When you put your energy into the fewer things and choose less but better, that's when things start to blow up, like in a good way, and take off in your life. Less but better. Less things but better. Okay. Another really amazing tidbit from Albert Einstein. Oh, what's the name of the book? Lisa says, what's the name of the book? It's Essentialism. Essentialism. Albert Einstein says we're most productive when we focus on a very small number of projects in which we can devote a large amount of attention. Can you imagine if Albert Einstein had like 14 different projects going while he's trying to create the theory of relativity? There's no way. There's no way the theory of relativity would have been invented. There's just no possible way. What he did was he tucked away. He got his mind fully wrapped around this challenge, this issue. He pondered it. He sat back. He didn't let other distractions creep in there. And as soon as he nailed that, then he would go on and try to solve a new problem. But some of the biggest problems in the world would have never been solved if someone didn't make the conscious decision to focus on less but better. Let me focus on this one thing until I get it. I want you to do the same thing. And the biggest saboteur for you this next year is this. This is my biggest saboteur, and I continually have to find my way to get around it. It's not who you are that holds you back. It's not who you are. It's not your income. It's not where you live. It's not where you were born, your upbringing, your race, your ethnicity. It's none of those things. Those aren't the biggest things that hold you back. It's who you think you're not. I know when I started Carrot, my only goal with Carrot was to start something that could be a lifestyle business that could solve a true need for people and make 10 or 20 grand a month. And then I could net 10 a month. That was my goal. Okay. Because I was thinking way too small coming out of my last stuff. I was thinking, you know what? My biggest problems before were building a business that, I enjoyed. I just want to build a business I enjoy. Okay. That's all I wanted to do. That's all I wanted to do. But once I finally focused on one thing, and once I finally surrounded myself with the right people, and once I finally started to think bigger, I recognized, you know what? The biggest thing holding me back the whole time, it wasn't external factors. It wasn't not having this process. It wasn't the market. It wasn't my product. It wasn't any of those things. It was me. I didn't think that I could be that. I didn't think that I could grow a company that was multi-millions. I thought, you know, back in the day, my biggest goals as income was like, maybe someday I can get to $500,000 or $250,000 a year. And income isn't the most important thing, but it's something that a lot of us strive for. Okay, I never thought that I could write on my tax statement well over $1 million net. And that's not all from Carrot. That's other stuff too. Because once you nail this process, you can plug it into that business. You can plug it into here. You can gather people from other things. You can start to build amazing synergistic businesses. Okay? It's not who you are that holds you back. It's who you think you're not. And I know one thing that I did back then when I was starting Carrot, and I still have to do it today, is anytime I feel myself getting in that self-doubt mode, which I still do that. Anytime I feel myself getting that self-doubt mode, I immediately have to shock myself back in. I'm like, okay, I know it sounds so corny, guys and gals, it sounds so corny, but this stuff works. Okay. Number one, and I'm going to walk you through my visualization process here in a bit. Number one, I visualize, and I'm going to show you exactly how I visualize. Okay. It's simple. It's simple, but it's powerful. That's the first thing. I visualize where I want to be. I visualize every part of my life. I visualize those. I'm going to walk you through it here in a second. The next thing I do, and this sounds even more corny, the next thing I do is I start to do like positive self-talk. I know it's dumb. I know it sounds corny, but I can tell you guys and gals, negative self-talk works. It works. If you're talking negative in your brain all the time, you're going to get the negative result. So if negative self-talk works, if you know that doubting yourself is probably going to lead to a bad result, why won't the opposite work as well? It actually works better. But the thing is, it's harder because there's so many negative influences in our lives. There's so many negative influences that we have in friends, family, colleagues, the internet, Facebook, news, whatever it is. So it's this continual battle. If you're spiritual, you know, it might be the devil creeping in there. If you're not spiritual, it's just this continual battle where where all of these influences are being thrown at us. And it's our job to make sure that we are doing our job to combat that, but then also to build it up. Who do you think you are? Who do you think you're not? Who do you believe you can be this next year? If you don't believe in your heart of hearts that you can be this thing that you want to be, there's no way it's going to happen. All this goal stuff you're going to write down, not going to happen. It's a waste of time. Get off of this call if you're just going to jump right to writing these goals down and not nailing this part of it. This is your biggest saboteur this next year. All right, and let's figure out how to get past that. So the next thing that I do to get rid of that sabotage is I got to clarify my life's vision. I can't plan out the year unless I'm clear where I want to be in life. Clear where I want to be in life. So back in 2010, right in the depths of when I was in that trough at that period of my life anyway, and I didn't have the tools, I didn't have the knowledge to climb out of that trough. One thing I did that was a pivotal thing for me in my life. It's really simple too. And I've actually still got the document on my bookshelf directly behind me. It's from 2010. It's almost 8 years old. A shriveled up piece of paper with pencil written on it. And over the years, I've written pen over the top of it. And to give you some context, 2010, I had several businesses, a marketing consulting company, rental properties, and a publishing company, and investments in 2 software companies. Okay, that was part of my problem. I had too many things going on, not enough focus. I wasn't happy. I was waking up in the morning, not wanting to do the work I had created for myself. I didn't know where I wanted to go. I didn't know what my purpose was. I couldn't even wrap my head around my purpose. And I'll walk you through how I told you here a bit ago how I got past that with my year challenge to do the best you could possibly do. That's your purpose that year. But this right here was the first step I took to clarify my life's vision. And it's so simple. I just wrote a life list. I think a lot of us have heard the term bucket list. A lot of us have heard that. For me, I could not have sat down and wrote a vision story, which is what I do today, because I hadn't sat down and at least like done the easy part. It was like picking out the fun, sexy nuggets of the highlight reel of my life. And that's kind of what your life list is. You go down the list. Where do I want to go? Who do I want to meet? Who do I want to be? What do I want to achieve? Where do I want to travel? Things like that. And my list ended up being about 102 items. And it's actually published on my blog today. Like, you can find my list over on my blog right now, and you can kind of emulate mine if you want to. Just head over to trevormock.com. I've got my life list published. There's a very specific reason why I have the life list published. It's so people see it, because I have actually had several people help me through some of these life list items because they saw them. There's several on here I haven't crossed off yet. Okay. Just for Christmas this year, my wife signed me up for guitar lessons. So if people can see your life list, they can help you achieve those things. All right. There's a whole bunch of stuff on here that I want to see, do, achieve, be, feel in my life. There's other things I want to add. And as soon as I started putting those things on paper, my mind started to work in a different way. I started to see future thinking. I started to see bigger. I started to see this vision of this life that could unfold if I set intention behind it. And as soon as I put that life list on paper, and then 2 years ago, I put it on my website, things started to accelerate. And not just on those life list items. That's not the point. The life list items are icing on the cake. Those are awesome. Those make it fun. What happens is something happens chemically in your brain, I think, to where your mind starts to work differently. You start to think, man, what can I achieve in life? Here's this story that I mentally created in my life that I want to see unfold. And that all started with the life list. Now what I do, compounding on the life list, is I write a vision story. I do it every year. And this picture on the left is the actual picture in the airplane when I was in the airplane flying down to Arizona on the way to my mastermind in October. And I was sitting there in my little orange carrot booklet, and I suggest every single person pack around a physical notepad, diary, whatever you want to call it, with you. Okay. I know for me, I'm very tactile. I don't like to have, everything wrapped up in internet stuff. I like to draw. I like to write. I like to pack things with me in moments just like this, when I'm on an airplane, when I didn't have an internet connection. I could get out my orange pen. I could get out my orange notepad, and I could sit there and write a vision story. And I'm going to walk you through my simple process in writing a vision story. And then we're going to move into planning the year, actually putting that vision story in play for 2018. I sit down, literally open page. Make sure you leave yourself 10 to 20 pages of text. If you leave yourself just one, you're probably going to run into an issue. Leave yourself 10 to 20 pages of text. You might only use 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5. I think this version of it for me was about 11 pages of handwritten font. My first version of it was probably a couple pages. I've gotten good at it now. I enjoy the process. It fires me up. And one of the reasons I want to talk about, one of the reasons I write a vision story to start my goal planning, to start my vision planning, to keep that momentum going, is because the way that our human brains are wired, we love story. Our human brains are wired to be attracted to story. We love thinking of story. We love hearing stories. And even if you're not a writer yourself, people love to fantasize and dream. But the thing is, most of us, for some reason, and most people in the general public don't fantasize and dream about the specifics of their life. They might fantasize about this car or about this house or about getting away from this job and having money. But I'm talking, like, if you were to film this movie, would you be able to actually write out the script in the set word for word? That's what I'm talking about here. So I sit down, open it up, and I just literally write. I go 20 years out, I go 10 years out, and I go 5 years out. And then I boil it down to a year. Oh, can you guys hear me? Someone said just lost audio, so I want to make sure audio is still working. If you guys can confirm if the audio is still working. Yep, it'll all be available for review. You guys will get the slides here in a bit. Can you guys still hear me? I want to make sure. Hello, hello. Someone said they lost audio. Looks like they're in Washington. So I want to make sure audio is still working here. I need a brave soul. Okay, cool. Thanks, Luke. Thank Michael. So what I do, I go 20 years out, I go 10 years out, 5 years, then I wrap it with one. And the funny thing is it gets shorter as you go, right? But so open up that piece of paper and write the exact year, 20 years out. So today it's 2017. So I'm talking, 2037. At that point, I'm going to be 55 years old. What do I want my life to look like in detail at that point? I'm going to walk through, what it looks like, what my friends look like, my surroundings, what I'm likely going to be doing business-wise and income-wise, what my year is going to be like. What are some of the highlights of that year? Like, what are the highlights of 2037 going to be? Okay. What are some of the highlights of my day? What does my day look like? What am I going to wake up to at that point? What is my work day going to be like? Who is going to be in my house? Where's my house going to be? All those things. I'm talking crazy detail. That's why it was like 12 pages long. Once I do that and I feel fully content and jazzed up and excited, yep, the video is staying in the same spot. Okay. Haven't moved the slide yet. Once I feel jazzed up and excited about that story and I'm inspired, I'm just like, oh my gosh, I want to keep writing the story because I want to live that life. I want that life. Then I go, okay, what's 10 years look like? If that's where my 20 year is, let me boil it back and write my 10-year vision story. At my 10-year mark, what is my life going to be like if I'm going to achieve my 20-year vision story? Same thing. What does my life look like? What does my family look like? Where are my kids at? I mean, what's my wife doing that's making her insanely happy and fulfilled? What are my parents doing? What are my brothers what are my brothers doing? My team. What does my business look like? Okay, it looks different. I can tell you, my 10-year vision story, Carrot was still a part of my life. Okay, it didn't change. The way I interact with Carrot, of course, has changed by that time. Okay, we've built an amazing team. The company's bigger. Technology's better. I'm still in there, but doing just only the things I love to be doing. Okay, write that 10-year. Now boil it back to the 5. Exact same thing. Get in detail. If you're just writing a couple sentences, I can guarantee you, you're not letting your mind roll and run with this as much as you should. Where the magic comes in here, y'all, is visualizing and picturing yourself in that reality. This isn't just about writing bullet points. Bullet points aren't inspiring. The Gettysburg Address was not with bullet points. John F. Kennedy's moon speech was not done with bullet points. Martin Luther King Jr. did not talk bullet points when he's talking about the I Have a Dream speech. He was talking about an actual dream of where he wanted things to be in detail. Children walking hand in hand. Like, that's detail. People do not get excited about bullet points. Get rid of bullet points in your vision story. Write a story. Let it flow. Get excited about it. All right? And keep that piece of paper, keep that notepad with you. Don't lock it away in a digital document in your computer. Keep it with you. Pack this thing with you. So whenever you're in those downs, whenever you're in those troughs, whenever you're getting to a negative spot, or whenever you're not sure if you're making the right decision, open up your vision story and read it. because that vision story, y'all, is going to be what's magic to keep momentum during the year. That's going to be what pulls you through the hard times. That's going to be what helps you make some of those business decisions to make sure you stay in line with your vision story. I do this every single year, and I keep all those vision stories with me. It took me about an hour and a half to do my last one on that flight. I still have to wrap up my 1 year vision story in this document, but I've already thought it through. I just need to wrap it up in written. I'm going to be doing that here for the next week. So don't be so busy following others' lives you forget to be the author of your own. That's step one. Write your vision story right after your life plan. And these are things literally that can be done today, y'all. This is not something, oh, I'll do that next week. What happens to next week? Next week turns into you sitting here 2018, December 28th, going, oh, I'm going to finally write my vision story. I'm going to finally write my life list. Okay. I can guarantee you're not going to achieve what makes you happy in life, where you want to go, if you don't do those in this next week. Not going to happen. So now once you've written that vision story and you're pretty darn clear and crazy excited about where you want to go over the next 20, 10, 5, and 1 year, and how they all build into each other. And that's the key. That's the key. Is way too many people write a 5-year plan or a 20-year plan or whatever it is, but they don't break it down into smaller chunks. How does a 5-year plan lead you into achieving the 10-year vision story? If I'm at this spot in my life in 10 years, is that actually going to get me where I want it to be in my vision story in 20? So they all have to be this continuous story that flows together so you can see how you're going to make those steps logical. And that way you're 2-3 years into this vision story, you're not going to get mentally defeated because you hadn't made your $1 million or you hadn't done this or you hadn't done that. You just look at the vision story and go, man, I'm right on track. I'm right on track. I'm crazy excited about the story that's unfolding. And now we're going to drill down to your annual plan for 2018. Okay. As entrepreneurs, we need the momentum to be happy. We need momentum. And I want everyone to pop through the question panel right now. Who can relate to this? That when you have momentum going in the right direction, when it seems like things are knocking down and things are just, oh man, momentum is happening, that you're happier as an entrepreneur. Are you happy? Are you happiest when you have momentum? Let me know through the questions panel. I know I am. I know I am. Even if my income is where I want it to be, even if my income is exactly where I said that my goal was, if I don't have momentum, I'm not happy. And I think that's something that's unique to entrepreneurs and high achieving people. Is a lot of people don't thrive on momentum. A lot of people thrive on security. A lot of people thrive on, you know what, I want to make sure that I'm just not going to fail. I just want to make sure that these things don't disappear. A lot of people try to protect what it is that they have. Us as entrepreneurs, I learned this from a friend of mine in a mastermind, and I'm a part of a huge mastermind named Alex Sharfin. He talks about momentum a lot on his podcast, and we talk about it in person. And that's the way that we are as entrepreneurs, as ambitious people. So the key to your 2018 is, how do you keep momentum? How do you keep momentum? Right? Some people are saying, crazy happy when I see progress. It's energizing. Pat says, momentum breeds confidence. Ben, I absolutely strive off of momentum. Could not agree more. This person from Burbank, let's see. Yep, DJ, what's up, dude? 100%. A bunch of people agree. Momentum is everything, says Bruno. It keeps us from being manic depressive. So if momentum is everything, if momentum is something that really keeps us happy, how is it that you keep momentum during the year? I'm going to show you how I do it. Now, I'm not going to say, hey, I never have lapses of momentum. I do. We all do. We're all going to. You're going to have a dozen, 2 dozen, 3 dozen, 4 dozen lapses of momentum in 2018. They could be a 5-minute mental lapse. It could be a 2-week lapse. It could be a 3-month lapse. It all depends on how you treat with that. How do you use these tools I'm walking through that keep the momentum up? The vision story, that vision life story, is a way that I keep momentum. As soon as I feel momentum sinking, I open it up, I read it, and it energizes me, and it recenters me on what's important. Then I go and do this. And okay, now I know what I'm supposed to be doing. I got distracted, now I know what I'm supposed to be doing. Okay. Ed says, that explains your excitement when I see you at Safeway. Yeah, that's right, man. That's right. Momentum. You got to get momentum, right? So we're going to drill down to the annual plan. I love this quote. Love this quote from Abraham Lincoln. Give me 6 hours to chop down a tree and I'll spend the first 4 sharpening an axe. And I want people to be honest here. There's hundreds of people on this call. I want people to be honest. How many people spend at least one full focused day per year to plan out your next year? At least one full focus day. I want you to be honest. Okay. Let me know through the questions box. And I want you to think about this. I want you to think about this. Okay. I want you to think about this. If you're not spending at least, and I'm talking minimum, like I can't do my annual planning in a day, y'all. I start in October. Okay. I start my annual planning in October and I go away on a 1.5-day retreat with my team. Okay. My leadership team. We do this process. I'm going to walk you through here in a bit. Exactly. And this is the updated process for this year. We updated it, made it better. Okay. Then I go away and do it personally. Okay. Then I go away and do it with the rest of our team. And then I wrap things up the last week of the year so I can pull it all into a bow so I can lead into the year with momentum. So all in all, I'm probably spending a full 7 to 10 full days of time planning the next 365 days of my life. Okay. So who on here is spending at least 5 full days of your time, focus full days, planning the next 365? 1 day a month to work, 1 each month, 2 for the year. Okay, cool. So 2 planning days for the year, TK. Sweet, man. That's awesome, dude. I love it. Cool. This person from Valrico, Florida says, doing my planning for next year this week. Awesome. Okay. And what I want you to do, if you're just starting it this week is going to give you that start, but you're going to need time next week too. Okay. Because some of your best ideas come after you have a chance to chew on them a little bit. They have a chance to marinate. Okay, that's why we started in October, because a lot can change, and you want things to marinate. You want to think about them. You want to get excited about them. You want to see, are these relevant? Do they connect to my vision story? Okay. This is my first year really focusing on having a planning day, starting with your webinar. Awesome, dude. This is awesome. So I'm going to give you the structure and we'll get you out of here so you guys can plan. But if you're not following Abraham Lincoln's advice, give me 6 hours to chop down a tree and I'll spend the first 4 sharpening the axe. That's a hyper example of that, where he's spending the most of the time prepping for the actual act. What we want to do is we need to spend at least 1 full day doing the initial planning session. Ideally, another full day, that week or the week after, once you have time to let it marinate, doing it again. And then probably another full day, okay, pulling away and just bringing it all together and letting your mind wrap around this vision for the next year and putting the documents on the wall. So this is a new thing I've done this year. I'm going to show you actually tomorrow. My leadership coach is coming into my office. My leadership coach is coming into my office tomorrow, Mark, and he's actually going to help me physically map out my war room on my wall for this next year. Okay. In the past, I've done little posters for the year, and I'm going to show you our exact posters for 2018 so you guys can kind of model yours, how we've taken this plan and vision and made it so we get momentum during the year. But I'm taking it 1 step further. I'm actually going to be taking an entire wall of my office and making it this vision for the year, this plan for the year. Okay. So I want to have you take this little quiz before we start to plan out the year in detail. And this is something due on your end. You could do it right now in a minute and a half. But this is something at our retreat. It was a year ago. We had a speaker come in, an amazing entrepreneur, and he came in, and this is one thing he had us to walk through, and it made a really big impact on a lot of people on our team. It's called the 5 Fs. And I want you to, it's really simple, right? On a scale of 1 to 5, 1 being you're insanely terrible at it. It's like, man, this thing is harming my life right now. 3 being, 2, 3 being, I'm doing okay. It's something that I wouldn't say is a strength in my life. It's not completely killing me, but man, I really need to get it better. A 5 being you are crushing it. Like that is exactly where you want it to be and you don't want anything to change. I want you to really think hard about this and do this now while I'm talking. If you want to do this after the call, whatever you want to do, print this slide out when we upload them on the replay page. I want you to write a scale of 1 to 5, where you are in life versus where you want to be on the fitness side of things. When I took this test, I was a 2. I've been on a 6-year stretch of being in the worst physical activity, physical health of my life. And it wasn't because of my business. My work happens to be around a computer, but it had nothing to do with the business, had nothing to do with the business model, had everything to do with me not making the conviction that that was actually important in my life. Okay, my financial was a 5. Cool, awesome. But family was probably a 3 or a 4. I have an amazing relationship with my wife and with my kids, but I'm not as mentally present as I want it to be. There's a 3. Friends, 2 or 3. Because I'd focused so much on one area of my life, my business. The other ones weren't 5s either. Faith, 3. Okay. So I looked at this thing and I had one thing I was crushing at, but you know what? Honestly, it was probably the least important thing of all of them. That one thing, the financial side of it, that should actually fuel me to drive fives on the others. Like as you hit your financial goals, you then need to take that money and plow it into getting yourself physically fit. Hire a personal trainer, build a gym. We did that here this last 3 months. Okay. I finally had conviction going into the third quarter and looking at my vision story for the year. And part of my vision story for the year when I was reading it going into the third quarter was I want to be in the best physical shape of my life and not have my physical shape hold me back from doing anything I enjoy physically, mountain biking, hiking with my kids, none of that stuff. You look at me, I look like I'm in shape, but I had lost my muscle mass because I had been just stagnant. So what I did going into that year, because of the vision story, because of what I'm going to show you, because of my quarterly check-in process, I said, you know what? I'm doing amazingly financially. Why don't I just take X amount of money and pile it over here? The ROI is going to be amazing. So I've got a personal trainer who comes in here 3 days a week into our office. I could not do it at the gym. I had too many excuses. I signed up for all 5 gyms in the area. There's 5 gyms in Roseburg. Okay. I had a year membership at each one of them. I showed up in total probably 20 times over those 5 to 6 years. I thought if I just move to a gym, that's going to solve it for me. I thought if I just get a personal trainer at that gym, that's going to solve it for me. What happened was it didn't. I had to completely eliminate all roadblocks between me and being physically fit. And this test started that. I realized how low I was in some of the most important parts of my life. Fitness, family, friends, and faith. Financial was up there. That is not the way that it should be. That's not the way that it should be. Okay, so we have a gym in the office. It's in the middle of the office now. We got the full squat racks, all that kind of stuff. Personal trainer comes in 3 days a week, and other team members are doing the same thing. Write your numbers here. And I want you to take a self-assessment right after this and circle the sections that you want to focus on the most in 2018. Okay, focus on the ones you want to focus on. Circle the ones you want to focus on the most in 2018. Man, family and faith are the most important for me in 2018, or fitness and financial, the most important for me in 2018. Those are going to lead you into crafting this plan now. Okay, we're starting to set the stage. Do you guys see what we're doing here? We worked on the foundation of that pyramid mindset stuff a little bit ago. You need to continually work on that. Get podcasts you're listening to on a daily basis to inspire you. Hopefully the Carrot Cast is one of them. Okay, and then we're working up through that vision story and that plan. You need to be able to have a clear plan, and have a clear vision that excites you, especially during the down times. And then now we need to go, okay, we got the mindset stuff rolling underway. Let's get some momentum on that. Now we need to know what is it we actually need to focus on the most that's going to make us the happiest in life. It's not all financial. I can tell you that when you have more money, this is bigger problems, okay? Bigger problems, more money. But also, more money, the money is solving my fitness problem, okay? The money is helping to solve more time with family and friends. That's one of the biggest things I need to work on this next year. Those are my 2 circles, family, friends, faith in a big way too. Okay, do that, circle those, and then lead these into the next. Now what I want you to do is this. With those things we talked about, and after you have a chance to go through and write your vision story, what's your big vision for this year? If you were to look back in 12 months at the year that had passed, if you're to look back December 28th, 2018, at those months that had passed and reflect, what would have had to happen in order for you to feel that year was a success? What would have had to happen in order for you to feel that 2018 was a success? Put yourself, I physically close my eyes when I do this. I close my eyes and I think about, okay, I'm in this spot. I'm by that time 36 years old. My kids are going to be here. My wife is going to be here. Okay, let me visualize the space, the feeling I want to have on December 28th. What do I want to feel at that point? Because you've got to start with the feeling. The part that I missed before with my visualization is I started with the visual part of visualization. And I missed the feeling. Once you can start with the feeling, how do I want to feel in my body, in my mind on that day? Then I can work back and go, okay, what would make me feel that way? Then I started to catch momentum on my goals. Start with the feeling first. The feeling drives emotion. Emotion drives conviction on your decisions. If you don't have emotion around a decision, you're not going to have the conviction to make it happen. That's a famous thing from Tony Robbins. I love it. It's something I live by. Close your eyes. December 28th, 2018. What do you want to feel? How do you want to feel? What does that particular day look like when you're sitting down doing your planning this next year? What does that day look like? How did you start it? Who did you talk to? What was your energy level? What time did you wake up? What are you feeling? Where are you at? All that stuff. What's your bank account look like? What's your friend circle look like? What did you do earlier that week? And then go, okay, in order to bridge that gap from today to then, here's what I would have had to do that year to get that feeling and make that happen. And I can guarantee you income is probably less than 25% of that equation. Okay, so start there, write that down. Next is our new planning pyramid. And you can probably see a little bit of a theme here, right? Pyramids. For some reason, pyramids are something that this really relates well, I think, with framework. And I'm gonna walk you through this pyramid is a brand new one I created this year to help us do our planning process as a team, so we could all get in the same boat. Because before, it was pretty much me and a couple other guys that did the planning process. We kind of hacked our way through it. But now we had to go, okay, let's bring the rest of the team into it. So we had to create a communication mechanism so everyone else understood the process by which you can effectively plan. And before I go into this, I want to toss it out to everyone. I know we're about an hour in. I get crazy pumped about this stuff because this is life-changing stuff, guys. Okay? I don't know if there's someone on this call that's going to literally take some of this stuff and do it this next year that could save someone's life. Okay? There could be someone on this call that is going to save someone's life because of a conviction that you are making right now and a process you're going to adopt, that this call is responsible for saving a life. I don't know if that's going to happen, but it totally could. Okay. I don't know if this call is going to be responsible for you going and doing some changes in your business that's going to add new jobs, that's going to give people better hope in their lives. It's going to change their family trees because they had an amazing boss with an amazing vision that brought them into that vision. You can totally change people's family trees in your business for generations, That's one thing I'm pumped about. Caleb, who I talked about at the earlier part of this call, college kid, him connecting with us could potentially change his family tree for generations. Because if his kids see what he's doing, they see a new possibility in life. They see a new possibility in life to go do what they want to do. And then if they see that and he's able to amplify those people around him and his kids do the same thing, or at least one of them does, then they start to carry that seed forward. That's why I do what I do, y'all. This isn't about one-to-one. This isn't about the couple hundred people on this call. This is about the impact you're going to make with this. This is about the ripple effect, the butterfly effect, whatever the heck you want to call it. I'm talking about changing family trees. Okay? So that's why I'm so passionate about this. But how are we doing so far in this call, y'all? We're halfway through it. We're more than halfway through, way more than halfway through. But how are we doing on this call? Is this resonating with you guys at all? Is this stuff that is firing you up? Is this getting you on that right path towards momentum? Let me know. Let me know. If there's something specific that you really want to see, Pastor Trevor. Dude, I'm passionate about this stuff, man. Like literally, this changes lives, dude. So I love it. All right, cool. Bruno says, great so far, very relevant. Bunch of other things coming through here. I love it, guys. I mean, this is stuff that pumps me up. So this is what we're gonna walk through now. I'm gonna give you the process, the breakdown, and the downloads for this. Okay. In order to create a clear plan for a year, you've got to start this way. You've got to have your mission or vision, right? I'm relating to this in a company context, okay, not in a life context, okay? Awesome. Luke says, I'm going to write out my vision story. Tang, what's up, dude? Carrot Camper, super pumped. Seeing or whatever, really excellent. The essence of life is growth mindsets, everything. Awesome, guys. It's good stuff. So this is the way that we do it here at Carrot. Now it's brand new. Is at the very base of our planning process, you've got to have your vision and mission. You have to. Like, you cannot plan goals or plan a year if you don't know where the heck you're going, right? You don't know. So you got to get the darn vision story down. That's what we just talked about as in your life. Next, if you're growing a business, you got to write your own separate vision story for the business, okay? Because you've got a vision story for your life. Branch it out there. Now do a vision story for your business. Do a 5-year, in this context, do a 5-year vision story for your business. Because oftentimes it's really hard to do a 20-year vision story for a business because you might not be doing that business in 20 years. But you should probably be doing that business in 5 years if you're actually treating it seriously, okay? So do a 5-year vision story for your business. This was agonizing for me. It took me a month, okay? I did this in November, December of 2016. My leadership coach helped me through it. And then I took it and gave it to my team and said, hey, I want feedback. Does this connect with you? Make notes in that Google document where it pumps you up, where you're connected. Make notes where you're confused and you need clarity. And we honed that vision story as a company so they had buy-in going into 2017. Okay, that's our story. It's a 5-year plan to 2021. That's when we made it, was last year. Once you have that and you put that vision story into a document, Actually, let me find this thing. I'm gonna find this thing. Let me ping. I'll find the document. We'll actually, you know what we'll do? We'll actually take the document and put it either on a download or something like that. But my vision story for Carrot was a 16-page story, and basically you go through what, where are we now and what brought us here. That's first step. Where are we now? What brought us to where we are? Next is where do we really want to go with this thing? What excites us? What is it that we want to impact? Okay, where are we going over the next 5 years? The next thing, what does our people look like in 5 years? Okay, what do our processes look like in 5 years? What is how's the business running? What's our product look like in 5 years? Okay. And break that company vision story between those different categories and write, hey, 2021, this is the way that our company is going to operate. Here's the people that'll be in place. The types of people will be here. They're going to be amazing at this. They're going to be amazing at that. Okay, get crazy clear about that. Get crazy clear about that. What's up, dude? Jeff, you're not bothering me, man. Originally from Medford, Oregon, 90-minute drive from Rosewood. What's up, man? You're in Savannah, Georgia now. That's awesome, dude. Fellow Oregonian. So got to get the vision story. I put it in a Google Drive, Google document, so then we can share it with people. We can share it with everyone. And then what happens is, because it's a 16-page vision story, people can't read that thing all the time, including myself. I suggest people read it quarterly or refresh parts of it quarterly that they need clarity on, the same way I told you about your life vision story. I did the same thing on a life perspective. Okay, but then what we do next is we take that company vision story, and you can do this on the life side too, and we boil down the essential elements into a one-page document. And that one-page document, every single person on our team has that page at their desk. Every single person on the team has that page at their desk. What are our core values? What are the core strategies that came out of that vision story, that company vision story, that are going to help us get there? Okay. There's a couple other things in there. It's a front back one pager, looks nice, and we can give you guys a snapshot of that. I forgot to put it in this presentation. We can give you guys a snapshot of it. Okay. It's got our company mission at the top, our vision, our core strategies that we pulled out of the vision story that help us get there, because those things we need to make sure to build in every single year to our plan. Okay. And then it has our core values. And then what you do next is, if you have more than one person on your team, then you do team goals and milestones. Now, if you're a solo entrepreneur, cool, get rid of this step here. Okay, if you're a solo entrepreneur, you're going to skip this team goals and milestones step. If you have a team of 3, 4, 5, 10, 20, 30 people, then you need to start splitting it up between teams now and go, okay, we've got the company vision mission. That's something you do once every few years. You refresh it. That doesn't change on an annual basis unless you need to change the vision or mission. And then you go, okay, what are our goals this year? Like, what do our goals this year have to be in order to march towards that vision? Okay, so that's why it's so important to have that vision done first. And then, so we're looking at it right now. We're going, okay, this is our vision story for 2021. Okay, if we do this, okay, then next year it's probably going to be like this. 2019 is probably going to look like this. 2020, we got to be here. So let's work it back. 2018, we got to be here. And then we set goals. Okay, 2018, we want to get to 5,500 active customers. We want to get to this. Our team is probably going to be 24, 25 people. And then we start to work back. What's our product need to look like? What do we want to impact more? To anything we want to add in there that's going to get us toward that vision? And then once we get those goals and milestones in place, then we go, okay, so what types of projects, like what actually has to get done? And then start to write down all those things that actually have to get done to reach those goals. So if you've got a goal as a real estate investor, as an example, to do 100 deals, well, what has to get done in order to do 100 deals? If you're not doing any marketing, there needs to be a project that is, launch my online marketing. There needs to be a project that's launch my direct mail. There needs to be a project that's whatever it is. Okay. Write down all those projects or initiatives that you will have to do that year to reach those goals. You're gonna have a big old list of them. Okay. And now those become your roadmap. That is what you put on your wall. That's what you put on your wall. That's what you review on a quarterly basis. You review your goals for the year. You make your goals for the quarter. And I'm gonna walk you through that here really quick. And you look at your roadmap and go, okay, on a quarterly basis, I said that these things are important because they're goals, and here's things we want to hit. These things have to get done in order to get those goals. When am I going to do those? And that's your roadmap. And then on the daily basis, it's like, what are your key performance indicators to make sure that you're marching towards those goals? Okay, and I'll break it down a little bit here in a bit. And the reason this planning process works is planning goes this way. Planning always has to start with a review of the vision, mission, goals. and then you create the company goals. And if you have a big team, then you create team goals. If you don't have a team, you skip team goals and you go vision, goals and milestones, put them into a simple roadmap. What has to get done this year? And then how do I track it? On the doing side of it, like when you're actually doing it during the year, and this is a framework that we invented this year. I haven't seen anyone do it this way. When you're doing it this year, and when you're doing it on the day-to-day, it starts with, what am I doing that's going to push my KPIs? How do they connect to the roadmap items that we said are important? Are those leading into the goals we said? And are those goals actually helping us to achieve the vision? So on a continual basis, we're looking at this and going, okay, are these KPIs still relevant as we lead into a quarter? Are they actually helping to be indicators towards us reaching these goals? And these goals actually still helping us reach the vision. Okay, the cool thing is you're never guessing what you should be doing next, because it all starts with leading back to and from this vision. So that's why the vision story is so important. Someone's saying, what are KRAs and KPIs? So I'm not saying you guys have to have this in place. We have a team we have a bigger team. So when it was just me, I didn't have KRAs and KPIs when it was just me. Okay. So I don't want you guys to overcomplicate it at all. Okay. But what everyone should have going into a year is you should know what are the most important things that you can measure that are going to be indicators towards you reaching your goals or not. Okay. So as an example, if you have a goal as a real estate investor to do 100 deals, kind of going back to that, what are the things that you could measure on a weekly basis or monthly basis that indicate whether you're going to get there? Okay. Is it offers per week, offers per day, whatever it is, right? So that could be a KPI. KPI is key performance indicator, and KRAs is what we call key responsibility areas. So once again, if you're a solo company, get rid of KRAs. You are all KRAs. You're everything at this point, right? But when you have a bigger business and you have different people taking over different roles, we say, okay, you own this. You own this part of the company. You own this part of the company. You're in charge of these things. Okay. That's what KRAs are. Okay. So as you're going through your planning session, and take a screenshot of this or whatever, this is the way that we do it. This is the way that we do it. And this is a screenshot from when we did it a year ago. There isn't anything as far as this part that's changed. But what we do first is we do a review. Okay. As you're going in, you write your vision story for your life and for your business. The first thing I want you to do this week is reflect on the year. Okay. Whatever goals you had set leading into 2017, write those down, make sure that they're somewhere so you can reflect on those. Okay. That's what we do, is we whip out those goals that we had set going into that year, and we go, okay, let's look at all of them. We said we wanted to reach this. How did we do? What did we do great? What did we not do good? We write that down. We celebrate the wins. And then we go, okay, let's jot down what stopped us from reaching that if we didn't reach it. Okay. And then we reflect on what were some amazing wins. What were good success stories? Okay. So that's what we like to do during the reflect and review process. Look at your goals, reflect on them. How'd you do? Celebrate those ones that you did great on, and then write down what you need to change to tackle those this next year. What was blocking those? And then I call this mind expanding shit. So pardon the French, but next we go into mind expanding shit. Okay. We start with reflection. So we wrap a nice little bow around the last year. You part ways mentally with that year as far as momentum goes, and now we're moving forward. And before you can start to plan, I need you to expand your mind. Expand your mind. Going back to that quote from earlier in the day that said something effective. Your biggest thing that's holding you back is not who you are, but who you think you're not. Okay, that's what this is. Let's blast any of those preconceptions and misconceptions about who you think you can become and who your business can become. I know when we're doing this, I walk through what I call the 10X exercise. It's not something I invented. It's something that's been around for years. Lots of people have used it. But the 10X exercise is awesome because when I'm expanding my mind, what happens most of the time is we expand our mind in a very linear fashion to what we're used to experiencing right now. As an example, let's say your income currently is $100,000 a year. You're like, okay, I want to make $200,000 next year. That's not a very big goal. Okay, it's not a very big goal at all. And that's why I used to do things. That's not mind expanding. You're not going to have to change a lot in your life in order to go from 100,000 to 200,000. Okay, you just have to get your same offer in front of more people is all, really. Okay, you don't have to change much. But if you were to go, okay, how do I 10X my income? What would have to happen if I were to go from 100,000 net income to $1 million net income? What would have to happen? The cool thing is whether you actually plan on 10Xing your income that next year or not, that's probably not going to happen. But let's say you were. If you were actually planning on 10Xing your income the next year, what would you have to do? What would change? What would have to change in order for you to do that? We do the same thing with people. Like, what would our team have to look like? What would our processes have to look like if we had 10 times more employees? If we had 160 employees, what would things look like? Like, what would we have to change? What would we have to adjust? We write down some of those things. Well, shoot, we need better onboarding and training. We need, okay, these things, even though we're not going to have 160 employees next year, we might have 25 or 30. We still need to tackle these things now. Okay, we're going to tackle these things now. On the income side of things, if you're really wanting to 10x your income over the next 10 years or whatever it is, the next 5 years, you need to write this thing. Okay, well, shoot, I can't go from 100,000 in net income to $1 million in this current business model. So I need to change my business model. What would I need to do? It makes you think bigger. It makes you think outside of the current bounds on what you're doing. And then what you do is you whittle it back and you go, okay, I'm not looking at doing all this next year or even ever. We may never have 160 employees, but at least now I know some of those important things we have to get in place now that's going to make our life easier as we grow. Okay. And those go into your plan for the next year. Those go into your roadmap. Next, we create our goals. What are those specific goals? Keep it simple. Okay. Keep it simple. What are those goals? And we start with product goals. Okay. Product goals. And we're a product company. Of course, we're not active, house flippers and stuff like that, or real estate agents, but we have a product goal. So are there any things you need to adjust in your product this next year to reach those goals? Write those down. What do you want the product to look like? What do you want to be doing? Who do you want to be catering towards? Write those down right now. Okay. And that usually takes us about 2 hours to riff, get out the whiteboard, do a bunch of stuff. Where do you want your product to be at the end of the year? Your product offering. Okay. If you're a real estate investor, you're probably going, well, my product is me buying houses. Well, yes and no. Okay. The market is going to shift. Do you have to become a real estate agent too now to beef up your product offerings? Do you start going to multifamily? Do you start to go into commercial? Do you start to hone in your unique selling proposition so your offering is actually fundamentally different? What do you need to do this next year to reach those goals product-wise? Okay. And then marketing initiatives. So now we're going, okay, here's the goals that we had set, and here's where we think the product needs to get to. What do we need to change in our marketing this next year to fuel that growth? Okay. And now write that down. Well, shoot, in order to get here, we're going to have to launch this type of campaign. I don't know how to do that yet, but we're going to set the intention, write a project or a task there. We need to launch our online marketing. We need to dial this in. Okay. We need to really get a referral campaign going here. We need to hire a person on the team who can take over these tasks so we can do more of that. That's one of our big ones for Carrot this year, honestly. Is this last year, my main focus has been building leaders in our company, been building our customer success team. Our customer success team doubled this year. Okay, our growth team stayed exactly the same amount of people. Even though we grew a lot this year, we were terrible at marketing this year. So going into this next year, we put a leader in place in the customer success. They're going to continue to grow that. But now my energy, more of my energy is going over towards how do I fill those gaps now on the marketing team? Because we want to do all this stuff. Like we have big goals. We want to do all this stuff. But I can't do it all. So are there people that we need to put in place in these roles? Okay. And so that's one thing I want you to make sure to do next. Now you go, okay, here's all these things we want to do. Are there people that we need to get in place to help do this stuff? Okay. Because you can't do this alone. I can tell you business with people is way better than business solo. Okay. Way better when you do it right. So now write down, where do we have to add people? Whether it's a contractor or employee, write down where those biggest gaps are that you currently are unable to fulfill on to reach those goals. Okay. And then next, are there any processes that you need to improve? So, man, we really need to improve our process around X because that's going to make it easier for this person to come in and do this, which is going to help us market this better and reach this goal better. Okay, so write down, are there any processes you need to get done in order to fuel those people to be able to go out there and reach those goals, or to fuel you and reach those goals? And then I wrap it all up with this. Is what are the core competencies we need to nail that next year? Okay. If you were to boil it all down and go, okay, in order to reach these goals this next year, there's all this stuff that we said we need to do. But if we did nothing else, we have to own these 3 or 4 things. Okay. Give you some examples. With Carrot going into 2017, one of our core competencies, it had to be that we had to ramp up our data collection and our conversion testing again. Okay. Because honestly, we kind of got a little bit off track for a few months. So we're like, you know what? One of our core competencies for 2017 has to be getting the resources, the people, processes, the money in place to ramp up our split testing again so we can really push a lot of innovation for our clients. That has to be. Otherwise we lose our advantage. And we've kept that advantage. We've grown it this year. Another core competency that we had to do, we had to get focus on getting leaders in spots in the business that there weren't. Like we had to be great at recruiting leaders and getting them in these spots. Okay, we had to hire people. And there are a few other core competencies that we had to have. So the reason these are important is because when you put that plan up on the wall, you need to go, okay, I need to nail that. I need to nail that. I need to nail that. If I'm not working on those things each and every month, I'm probably not going to hit my goals. Okay. And like I said, the way that we do it, we just whiteboard it, we mess things up, and then we build it back together. And we take pictures of the whiteboards every year and put them up on our planning thing. We have fun with it. And like I said, then we let it marinate for a few days, for a week, and then we come back to it and we put it back together. Okay. And this is the way that we hold our offsite. And once again, we have a bigger team now, but the way that I like to do it is like this. I like to have a 2-day offsite retreat to do your initial planning. If you're right now, leading into the new year, you can still do that. You can do it this weekend. If your 2018 is truly as important as you say it is, this weekend being New Year's could be your time to plan versus time to go out and party and drink. Okay. If you choose to party and drink versus plan, don't come crying to me come 2018, December 28th, 2018, when you didn't reach your goals. All right. So ideally I like a 2-day offsite. It has to be offsite. Get out of your office. It's got to be out of your office. Okay. You have to have that out of your office. We usually go out of town and do that, and it's awesome. Ideally, if you have if you have multiple people in your company, bring the leaders with you. Okay, for your company offsite. And then like us, we have 16 people. 3 of us went away, did the initial, and then we came back and honed in the process with the rest of the team. Okay, we reviewed. Once again, same stuff I talked about before. What worked, what didn't, what frustrations did we have, what blockages? Okay, how are we actually doing towards our core values and mission? And we expand our mind. That's what day 1 is. Day 1 is all review, all finding out what frustrated us that year, what blockages, what fail points we had, writing all that down, gauging whether we did good against our mission, our core values. One thing that's critical I want to toss at you guys, we added this in 2 years ago. This is critical. I want you to write down, it's kind of like a SWOT analysis, strength, weaknesses, opportunities, threats. I want you to write down what could kill your business in 2018. Like what are the things that could absolutely cripple your business? And these things are probably very unlikely things, but what could absolutely cripple your business? What could cripple it? There's several things that could cripple ours. There's like 5 or 6. If these things happen, if our merchant accounts got taken away, we'd be out of business. Okay, we'd be out of business. If this got taken away, we'd be out of business. If this happened, whatever it is, we would be at a massive disadvantage. So those things are things I used to not look at, but now we do every year. Where those are some of the first things we look at and go, oh, damn, if those things could kill our business, we should probably do those things like first in the year, right? So we've got some really key initiatives that are going into our first quarter this next year to get them tackled. So those points of failure are taken down. They're taken care of. So even if you're a solo operation, what could kill your business? One thing that could kill your business in 2018 is if the market shifts and you weren't ready for it and your strategy didn't shift with it. So study your market. That needs to be a project of yours this next month, is study your market, talk to people in your market, learn on where you think it's going to go, and then talk to people and figure out what strategies are going to best fit that market. There's so many Carrot clients who were crushing it 3 years ago that went out of business this year. Not because of lack of leads. They were still getting the same amount of leads. It was because they didn't shift their business model. They didn't shift their business model. What did we do? Rather than letting those websites get out of the search rankings and die, we bought those websites from them. We went and partnered with clients in those markets. Now we're doing deals with the same leads. Like we're doing the deals with the same leads, y'all. The business strategy changed. And then we just sell the website to that Carrot client and they take it and run with it. Okay. So what potential points of failure could kill your business this year? Write those down. All right, day 2. What's day 2 look like? Day 2 is future forward looking. That's your product vision. That's your goals. What are those things that you're looking for? I'm going through this fast because you guys are gonna get access to this. What new things you want to add to your business? And then the biggie is all this stuff's exciting. The product vision, the goals, the new product offerings, whatever. All that stuff's exciting because that's adding stuff. But this stuff right here, the people, the gaps, that's a critical part of planning, because as you're going, you can't achieve this stuff alone most of the time. So we need to be identifying who do we need to add, or what skill sets do we need to add, and what gaps do we have right now, and then go out there and find those people. Okay, go out there and find those people, and then we go, are there any processes? We look at processes next. Okay, then we wrap it all up. And all that stuff goes into a notes section. All that stuff goes into a notes section. And then the very, very end, as we're looking at the goals, as we're looking at all that stuff, this is a big question we added 2 years ago. I suggest everyone do this. Everyone do this. Okay? Is ask yourself why. So after you've done the whole planning process, I want you to go back and review your vision story. Review that vision story. Keep it fresh in your mind, because sometimes your planning process, you can get excited about stuff that actually takes you off track from your vision story. And you don't want that to happen. Okay, you don't want your planning, your excitement in adding things, your excitement in creation to take you off track from where you have intentionally set to go out with your vision story. So read that thing and then look at every single thing that you wrote down in your planning and go, okay, is this still relevant? Is this guiding towards that vision? Or maybe the vision just needs to be adjusted. Maybe you're like, you know what? I'm thinking bigger now. I have bigger convictions. I just need to adjust the vision story. This new vision story excites me more. And it's going to take me more in the right direction. Okay? And then if you have a financial number, this is a big mistake I made in the past, is I would do all of my planning around the financial side of it. You know, hey, how many customers do we want? How many deals? How much revenue do we want? And then we would boil it backwards. And that's how most people do their planning. They put a revenue number out there, boil it backwards, you know, poof, out comes projects to reach that revenue number. But what happens is once you don't have your back up against the wall anymore, once you have enough money in your bank account to where you're not really looking at the right side of that menu where the prices are, you're just looking at what you want and you buy it. The numbers actually, the financials actually can throw you off. They can actually make your business less fun. They can actually make your business to where you resent your business now. Because when we chase numbers, numbers never end. So you're never going to be content if numbers are what you base your goals off of every year. Now you have to have numbers so you can track whether you're on pace there, right? But what we like to do is we go, okay, here's this revenue goal. Does it matter? Like, why does that number matter? Does it matter to grow? Do we actually need more money? Do we actually need to grow our company? Or can we just put things in autopilot? Can we just put things in autopilot, coast at our current revenue, just keep our current revenue, current business? Let's take half the week off, or, you know, I'll go from working, you know, 30 to 45 hours a week, or 20 to however many I work, to 10 hours a week. I'll hire more people and I'll just coast, right? Because at the end of the day, the business is here to unlock and fulfill and fuel our passions, to fuel the things that we're passionate about, impacting the world, the things we're passionate about doing, right? So why would you want to keep growing your business, your revenue, past the point to where it already fulfills your passions and fulfills that stuff and puts money in the bank for the future? Why would you want to do that? At that point, you're building a business that traps you. And that's what I've done in the past. So what we do now is we're like, okay, why does this growth matter? Why does this number matter? Can you guys still hear me? George said lost the live feed. There's a bunch of people on here still. The show's live. So we ask that question, why does that number matter? And then we talk about it. Does this number help us fulfill our mission more? Does this number help us add more humanity back to business, inspire other business owners to add the human touch? Well, so many things in our life are being automated. So many people have their heads down on their phones. They're walking, they're not even interacting. How do we be that bright spot in people's lives and people's days that shows the interaction, that shows, hey, you can actually interact with the human company still? And can we inspire other companies to do the same thing? Because if we inspire other companies to do the same thing, to be more human, what is the world going to be like in 20 years? If we can help start that or help push that forward along with some other businesses like Zappos or Disney, versus everyone automating out the human experience. Can we help you regain that precious time in your life for things that matter, so you can go out there and make that impact, so you can go out there and change your family tree, so you can go out there and impact your communities, your family, your friends, the things you're passionate about? Does that big number, that bigger number, that growth actually help us do that more? And if the answer is yes, sweet. If the answer is no, we go, well, why grow then? So far, our answer has always been yes. Building bigger, having more resources, having more people on our team, having more ability to recruit amazing people into our company as we grow, having more ability to have cash to impact charities. That is why we grow. So as you're writing down that vision, that goal, ask yourself that reason why. If you don't have a clear reason why, other than, yeah, it'd be cool to have more, having $1 million is better than having $500,000, right? If that's your answer, I can guarantee you, you're going to be very, very, very unhappy in the next year or two. Very unhappy. And I can also guarantee you that you're going to find yourself halfway through the year listing through your to-do list, and you're just going to be not enjoying things. You're not going to be marching towards your goals. You got to have your why, something that excites you. Your business should fuel that why. And that's the only reason the business should be there. Fuel your why and add comfort and the flexibility for you to go out there and make your impact. All right. Here's a worksheet that I started doing. This is 10 years ago. 10 years ago, y'all. Okay. The first time I did this, actually, it was in 2007. And I was struggling. To combine my business goals with my personal all in one spot. And so I created this worksheet in 2007. You can actually see my sample things down there in 2007. And this is still what I use. I use a version of this. You guys can actually download this sheet below, the live version of this and on the replay. And what I want you to do is, as you're going through doing this stuff, you kind of break apart the different parts of your life and write down the things that you want to actually achieve and march towards this next year. Career and business, family, relationship, pleasure, leisure, public service, spiritual, financial, health and wellness, education. This kind of is an expansion on the 5 F's exercise. Okay, once you kind of determine on the 5 F's exercise which ones you need to work on the most, now bring it over here. Bring it over here and go, okay, what specific things do I need to work on? Okay, what is going to help me take my financial world from a 3 to a 5 this year? What do I have to do? Okay, what's going to help me take my family and friends, world from a 2 to a 5 this year, whatever your number is? Okay, write those things down. And then what I like to do is a rating, 1 to 10. How important is that activity? Okay, some of them might be a 10, like this right here. This is so important. I've got to drive down to see my parents monthly. That's a 10, or whatever the thing is. Okay. Okay, right here, I've got to change my business model from this to this. That's got to be a 10, or whatever your number is. Okay. And then what you do is take all of your 10s, or the things that are the most important. You circle those. You circle your top 3 from out of all these, and then put them over here. Okay. Those are your top 3 most important goals, things you're going to be tackling in the first quarter of 2018. Okay. So circle the 3 that are the most important. And those are the 3 that you need to focus on the most in 2018 in your first quarter. Write it down. Write action steps. Okay. This is like your roadmap, kind of, right? This is your roadmap. This is a simplified version of roadmap. I'll show you what our roadmap looks like today. It's a lot more complicated. And then write a due date. Post that thing on your wall. Like, this is the simple version of creating a roadmap. Okay. So after you've gone through and done all that planning, you had all those ideas, you have all this chicken scratch everywhere. And now take the most important parts from your vision story, from your 5 F's exercise. Okay. From, your life list or whatever it is, put them over here. The most important ones from your business, put over here in financial. Okay. And then circle the 3 that are most important that you have to tackle in the first quarter. Put them over here. That's a simplified version of a roadmap. Now, I don't do roadmap this way anymore because we have a lot more going on. But if you're a solo entrepreneur, bam, it's going to nail it for you. You download that worksheet and go crush it. Okay. So how do we do it now? I'm going to walk you through how we do it, and then we'll wrap this up and answer some questions. So kind of going back to this life success process. How do you have an epic year? You have an epic year by nailing your mindset and every single day putting things in your way that pour clean water into your brain and flush out the bad. Okay. Find a podcast, or find like 3 or 4 podcasts, listen to a podcast every morning in the shower out. Okay. That's number 1. Okay. Carrot cast, get the carrot cast, right? Number 2, surround yourself with the people that are positive. Okay. Number 3, and I'm going to go into this here right after here next, is craft a winning environment. You need to walk into an office that inspires you. You need to walk into a bedroom, a house that inspires you. You need to be getting in your vehicle that has stuff in there that inspires you. Okay. On Facebook, I still use Facebook sometimes for business and stuff. That's such a drain. What did I do? I went to Facebook. Let me actually go in over here. Let me see if it's doing it right now. I think it's only on mobile that it's doing it. On my cell phone, because I don't really look at Facebook much on my computer. But on my cell phone, what I do is on mobile, I pinned this Facebook page called Goalcast, I think. Goalcast. Okay. Pretty sure this is it. Yeah, it is. So I pinned this Goalcast thing. I went right to here, and I went let's see. I don't know how to do it on here, but on mobile, you can actually do it towards like pin. Yeah, see this first in my news feed. See, I click see this first. So automatically when I log into Facebook, what happens? I see this inspiring stuff first. I see inspiring video. I see inspiring picture, whatever it is. Okay, that helps me in a big way. And then plan out your life with your life vision story, okay, and your business vision story. And then go through and then take that and boil it down to the annual. Do that exercise. If I'm looking back in December 28th, 2018, what would have had to happen this year to make me feel happy, content that it was a successful year, and then it would lead into my vision story? Cool, write those things down, okay? And then boil them down into big chunks, okay? Big chunks. What are those most important things? And then when do I tackle them by priority? Is this first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, whatever it is? And put those things in the wall. Every single quarter you lead into, review all this and make sure it's all relevant. Then on the daily basis, you just need to make sure that you're doing the things that are leading towards your quarterly big chunks, your quarterly goals. And it kind of helps you create guardrails in your business. Most people choose a big yearly goal. Their goal focus is kind of vague. You know, they only do their goal setting in themes once a year. So you kind of give up on your goals by March. That's something that's very common. I've done that a lot of times. But what you really need to do is you need to create a theme for the year. Pick the number one most important thing you want to live in 2018, you know, and then make a darn canvas out of that thing and put it on your wall. You know, like I said, in 2011 or 12, it was to look back and know I did the best I could possibly do at everything I did. That was my theme for that year. Theme for another year was health and activity over there. Everything else, I bombed it. I sucked at it. I finally got that taken care of this year. And if you guys want to, I can tell you how I finally licked getting over that mental hurdle. And I'm a pretty like, I'm pretty dialed in on like achievement stuff, but for some reason I couldn't lick that one. I can tell you guys exactly how I licked that one about 3 months ago, finally, after 7 years of not. Let me know if you want to hear it and I'll let you know. Another one was building something great with massive focus. That was 2015. And that one worked. Another one, 2016, was lead by example in everything I do, because I was clearly not leading by example. I was clearly saying that this is important. I was doing this. That led into 2017's focus, which was actions express priorities. That was my theme for 2017. Theme for 2018 is the ultimate goal of an entrepreneur is not money. It's complete control of your time. How do you have complete control of your time? By getting your other people bought into your vision, getting other people bought into your vision, bringing the right people aboard, unleashing them and their unique abilities and what they do best, so I can do what I do best and I can control my time better. Okay, so every single year I create a theme and I put it on the wall. 2 years ago, I started putting those on the wall with canvases, and I'm going to continue doing that every year. Okay. And then last, like I said, you got to break it down. Got to break it down on 90-day chunks. There's a book called The 90-Day Year. And I was actually talking to my Uncle Larry at Christmas here. And this book right here, and there's actually a course too. I've never taken the course, but there is a book called The 90-Day Year that's really, really good. And he walks through the 90-day year, and I really like the concept. I've been doing it for a few years, but once you have all those annual goals set, then you got to pull back. And that's what our team wrapped up last week or the week before was, okay, here's all these goals, all these projects we said that we needed to do. Now we have them just put them into quarterly chunks. Okay, this one needs to get done first quarter. This one is a third quarter project. This one has to, you know, this one can't be done until these two are done. So that's a Q2, these other Q1 projects. I have to break it down by quarter and put them somewhere that makes sense to you. It could literally be a piece of paper on a wall. It could be a calendar. It could be written notes in your thing that you open every day. It could be a software like we use for our project management. But you've got to, every single quarter, review the annual goals that you put on your wall. And those have to go on your wall. They got to. Do not walk away from this without your goals and your roadmap on your wall. Okay? And then go. So how do we do it? Here's Carrots 2017. Overall, like this is our overall, how do you simplify the essence? How do you simplify the essence? Yeah, it could be 12-week year. Something like that. How do you, so after you've done all this planning and all this stuff for the year, what can happen is you get into January, February, like I said, and you lose sight on what's important, because now you have this whole list, this list of crap, this list of tasks. Tasks aren't exciting. In order to crush and keep momentum, you've got to be excited. You've got to be inspired. You've got to be motivated, right? How do we do that? We do this, and you guys can have someone on Fiverr.com do it. Go to Fiverr.com and have them craft a simple little graphic for you for $5 or $10. Okay, Chris and our team makes these, and we print them off into these big posters. They're about 2.5 feet by about 1.5 feet, full color. They go on our wall. Every single team member has this. It has the carrot vision, okay, for that year that leads into our overall company vision. It has the core focus items that we need to focus on. Like, we need to nail these this year. If we don't nail these, we're not going to win. This is the first time we've ever shown this document outside of our carrot team, by the way. First time ever. Part of it's because the year is over. We're creating our one for 2018. But this year we need to recruit and retain amazing people. We couldn't reach our vision and our mission, help our clients without doing that. We need to own content marketing for real estate, not just investors, but agents. We couldn't really own our market without owning the content marketing side. We need to reignite our industry leading data testing and reporting. We got a little bit lazy, reignite it. Okay, empower our team with processes for success. We were sucking on processes. Our team was just wading through things, taking way too long to do stuff. We dialed in some processes. Okay, then impact our communities through carrot core values. How do we then take all this that we're doing and tell the carrot story more to inspire people? This call is a part of that. If we just focus on those 5 things, we're going to win. And then we have projects, of course, to feed those. Now over here, on the different parts of the company, like even if you're a solo entrepreneur, you could still have marketing and financial and whatever it is. Like, determine what the units of your business are. Our units in our company are the development team, our growth team, which we call marketing on this, customer success team, and then like leadership, growing the people. Okay. So the development team, out of all of this stuff, they decided, hey, these are the most important chunks. We've got to build that. We got to build that, got to build that, got to build that. And add people to the team. The marketing team decided, hey, we've got to do these things. These are the most important things. So as we're leading into the year, as we're leading into the quarter, we've always got this on the wall. We've always got, okay, did we do that? And as soon as we do, we cross them out. Like, I physically cross out with a pen on my wall. Okay. Keep that on the wall, keeps you inspired, keeps you focused, keeps some momentum. If you ever lose momentum, you go back to this document on your wall. Okay. So this is going to look crazy complicated, and I'm not going to say you need to be doing this. If you're a bigger company, bigger team with a lot of stuff, then you're probably going to need something like this. If you're 1, 2, 3 people, you're not going to need something like this. Just that piece of paper on the wall that you update, or a Trello. You know, Trello is a software, project management software. That stuff works great. We create what we call a roadmap, a physical roadmap that you can view and see. Okay. So we know as we're leading into that quarter, we plan out our roadmap for the next 6 months. So we can see, you know, this is our roadmap for the last part of the year. We can see going into the last part of the year, we're going to be doing this in July, and that in September, and then that and this. And we're behind on a couple of these for sure, because we had to move some things around, put some stuff in. But this is so you can visualize and get excited about and connect yourself with the stuff on a continual basis. Because it's really easy to go, well, shoot, I'm going to do this thing because it's urgent, but maybe it's not important. Maybe that's something that can wait until November. And if you sit there and plan it out with intentionality, that's a November project. Okay. And then these other things are more important. As soon as you put it on a roadmap like this and give yourself the permission that it's a November project or it's a March project or whatever, because that's where it lies priority wise, then you're not going to be confusing your brain with too much clutter. Because I know for me, what would happen was everything in that to-do list looked like it was important to me. So I would want to do it all, right? And when I'm doing it all, I might not actually be doing the important things. The things that are the most important. I might be doing the things that are just in front of me. And as soon as we implemented this roadmap, that's when we started to get better. We still have a long way to go. We started to get better at actually doing the important things when they're supposed to be done. Okay. So work out your own version of a roadmap. And like I said, if you're a solo entrepreneur, it's going to be way simpler. Your roadmap is literally probably a piece of paper, and you do first quarter, here's my mission. Second quarter, here's something I need to do. Here's these 3 things I need to do here. Here's these 4 things here. Then you just look at it every quarter and you update it and go, okay, let's adjust it now and let me tackle this next quarter with intentionality. Okay. So like I said, this works for us because we're a bigger team. We have a lot more resources to do a lot more things. So we have to organize it better visually. And we have to be able to tell our story to our team and why we're doing these projects and how they connect to each other. But you as a small team, come up with your version so you can connect it all in your brain. Okay. So get that quarterly offsite. And then I'm going to show you how to win the day. Okay. And we're going to wrap it on winning the day. Your environment shapes you, shape your environment. So you're intentional about what you fill your mind with. Okay. So this right here is in our customer success team's office. They walk in, they see our customer fit map, which shows exactly how to help our customers in certain situations. Now they've memorized most of it, but they see it. It's an inspiration on a daily basis. They see the roadmap items on the wall, okay, for their team and for the other teams. So they can, at a glance, check those things out. Now, those are also in our project management software. That's where we actually do things. These documents are just for inspiration. They're just for connecting that vision on a daily basis in our heads, because sometimes we don't go over to that project management software on a daily basis and read it. These things have to be in our office so we can see them and read them, okay? Here's a focusing question I put on my computer. What's the one thing that I can do such that by doing it, everything else will be easier and necessary? That came from the book, The One Thing. And I still have that in front of me to this day. I actually am interviewing the guy who is the CEO of the One Thing Corporation next week, Jeff Woods. One Thing podcast is amazing. Listen to the One Thing podcast. Jeff Woods is going to be on the Carrot Cast. Interviewing him next week. We'll go on there the week after. What are you putting around there that's helping you focus on those right things? Are you surrounding yourself with inspirational things? Are you surrounding yourself with things that make you happy, light, airy office, whatever it is, books? You know, I've got hundreds of books in our office, and our team brings books in. We actually have a book program on our company to where we'll buy you as many books as you want to buy, as long as you read them. We'll ship them to you. We'll pay for them. We want you to be surrounded by things that inspire you. Core values. If you don't have a set of core values that you live by and believe at your life level, at the very least, but at business for sure too, then you're probably going to be struggling this next year. So do the simple version. Just create your first version of your core values. What do you believe in? Ours are have fun and be different. Constant, never-ending improvement. Always genuinely care. Gratitude for everything. Be adventurous, creative, and open-minded. Delivering wow through great service. Be a beacon of positivity and possibility. Create intimate and real connections with people. Transparency. Consistent and predictable financial growth. Those are our core values. So if we don't have core values that are written, how do we know if we're actually marching towards and building a business that matches the way that we want to live? We don't. Get those, print them off, put them on the wall. Go to Fiverr.com, have someone make you a fancy, beautiful looking graphic, put them on the wall. Okay. And I'm throwing a lot at you guys. You guys are gonna have a lot of action items here. The thing I don't want you to be taken away from this is I don't want you to be taken away from this going, hey, I've got 1,000 things I've got to do in the next week. That's not the case. Guys, it took me 6-7 years to build all this. Okay, so don't put pressure on yourselves for not having it all in place in the next week, in the next month, in the next 6 months. Okay, pick the things that are going to make the biggest impact for you this next year. Pick an annual theme and go get a quote of it and put it on the wall. Do something. The way that where I get my canvases is a place called Canvas Pop. We have probably dozens of canvases here in the office, and they always have discounts like that right there at 45%. Just go to canvaspop.com and you can get a canvas like the one I'm showing here for like $35. Just get it shipped out to you. Okay. You have a graphic person on Fiverr.com, put an inspirational photo behind it, and then they put your graphic over it and they send it to you. Okay. So just go do that. That's something you can do right now. Surround yourself with it. Another thing you should do that should be a priority for 2018 is writing your vision story for yourself and your business. Okay. And then just going through a Cliff Notes version of that planning process. Reflect on the year, do the mind expanding shit exercise, like really think big, and then go, what would we have to do to get there? Boil it back to, okay, what do we actually want to do this next year though? Okay. And then think through your goals. How are we going to have to market to reach those goals? What are the people or gaps that we have? What are the things that could kill our business this next year? Write those things down. Okay. And then boil that down into some sort of a roadmap. Okay. In order to do these and achieve these things, we've got to get these things done in 2018. Write those and put those somewhere where you can physically see them. Okay. That's like basic right there. If you want to take it further, do what we did and then, put an actual graphic on the wall that shows the most important big chunks and that kind of stuff. That's up to you. Just do the simple stuff for now. Okay. And then what I do on a daily basis is I've got my core values in my office. I've got the amazing quotes here. I've got all kinds of cool stuff here. I've got, we've got our roadmap. We've got our vision story that I wrote last year. That's going to serve you every single year. And now whenever I come into the office, and I don't do this every time. Okay. I need to get better at it, but I know when I'm crushing it, I do this. Is I have one of those worksheets physically on my desk, and you guys can download this worksheet right below. You can download this worksheet below. And I sit down and I do a little bit of a brain dump and I go, okay, let's look at the goals for the quarter and what am I supposed to be doing today to make sure I'm reaching those? What's actually important, not just urgent. And I write those down. Okay, and then on the bottom, you can see how it separates them. High importance, low urgency, low importance, high urgency. So anything that's urgent and needs to get done, but it's not crazy important, write those down. And those, you circle them and you delegate them immediately. You delegate them. Get them off to a personal assistant, get them off to someone, whatever it is. You shouldn't be doing those things, or get someone else to do them as quick as you can. If you're by yourself and you haven't hired someone yet, go back and listen to our Carrot Cast episode called How I 10X My Productivity. And it's going to walk you through exactly how I hired my personal assistant. Very part-time basis, very low amount of money at the start. And now she's, of course, is full-time and does insane. Well, she's been with me for 6 years, I think 5 or 6 years. So when I come into the office and do this now, I write down the things to delegate. She comes in and does that and just takes it from me. I don't even have to send it to her. Okay. The things over here, then I take these and I bring them up here. Okay. I go, okay, these are the things that are high importance and I got to get them done and bring them up here and order them in the order of importance. Personal notes, then I hit my day. Okay. And as long as you kind of end your day prepping this document, the thing that I like to do is and someone asked, how did you, someone said, yes, please. How did you lick the 7-year health and activity slump? I'm going to tell you how I did that right now. Okay. Because it's very relevant to this. And let me show you this. This is something we didn't link up, but I'm going to .com/energy. I forgot to link it up. Is this energy? Go to oncarrot.com/energy. oncarrot.com/energy. Okay. If you are already a Carrot customer and you're logged in, you're going to see this download link. If you're not already logged into your Carrot account, you're going to see like an opt-in box. Put in your email, you'll get this energy audit form. And this is exactly how I did it, y'all. Okay, this is exactly how I did it. And I do this thing every single quarter. And this changed my life in 2012 when I started it. Okay, so I call it the energy audit. And this right here changed my life. Do it every quarter. This helps you keep momentum. Okay, the big M, the word that we've been talking about a lot here, momentum. This is what helps me keep momentum throughout the year. Okay, is the energy audit. So go download this. Go to oncarrot.com/energy. oncarrot.com/energy, and then go grab the document. And it's going to take you 15 minutes to do it, and it's going to change your life if you do it every quarter for the next 2 years. Okay, so take an audit on what you're doing today on a daily, weekly basis, and then separate them by this drains my energy. I have less energy when I'm done doing that thing than when I started. And then on the left side, what gives me energy? I have more energy when I'm done than when I started. Like these calls give me energy. Doing coaching calls with people gives me energy. Talking with customers who love Carrot and who are crushing it give me energy. Coaching up my team gives me energy. Writing content I'm passionate about gives me energy. Okay, all that stuff gives me energy. But the thing was, 3-4 years ago, I wasn't doing any of it, or very little of it. I was doing a lot of things that drained my energy. So it was really hard to keep momentum during my year when I was hating life. Like I was hating work. I was low energy. I was going, why am I even doing this work? It's not even fun. You know, I'm like, what? Let me go get a business at get a job at Nike or something. I was literally thinking that 5 years ago. Okay. So what happened was I created this process called the energy audit. I'd never seen it done in this way. And what you want to do is write down all those items that are draining your energy that you're currently doing. Okay. Write down all those items that give you energy in your life, even if you're not currently doing them. Like, let's say I love mountain biking. Working out gives me energy, but I wasn't working out 3 years ago. It gives me energy though. Okay. So write those things that give you energy in life down there, the things you love in your work and the things that you love in your life that give you energy. And then what you want to do is go down here and write a percentage. How much of your average week, right here is energy draining activity versus energy giving activity. 5-6 years ago, mine was probably a 85-15. 85% of my work drained my energy and 15% gave my energy. No wonder I didn't like what I was doing. Okay, no wonder. No wonder my income wasn't where it wanted to be. No wonder my impact wasn't where I wanted it to be. My energy was being drained by all these tasks I hated to do. And then this is where the magic comes in. Circle 1 or 2 of the things that drain your energy the most. Write down how many hours per week you're spending on each one of those activities. So it could be checking email, 14 hours a week. It could be whatever it is for me, writing blog posts, okay, 7 hours a week. Add those up, that'd be 21 hours a week on just 2 tasks that were draining your energy, as an example. Okay, and then I would take those, I would circle them, and I would go, okay, I want to get rid of this one this quarter. I want to get rid of these 2 this quarter. They add up to 7 hours a week that I'm going to regain, or 20 hours a week I'm going to regain. And what do you do? This is where the magic comes in. You circle the energy drainers you want to get rid of that quarter. There's 1 or 2 max. Any more than that, you're probably not going to be able to do it. 1 or 2. And then you go over here to the energy, the gives energy column, and you circle the one of those you want to add with that extra time you're going to gain. And then what happens? The one you circled over here that drains your energy, that costs you 7 hours a week, that is one of the first things you do in January is solve that. Systemize it, outsource it, decide just to stop doing it, whatever it is. Okay? And I do that every quarter, and that's how I've taken my energy ratio from 85-15 the wrong way to like 85-15 the right way over about a 3-year period. A year and a half ago, I was writing blog posts. I was sitting there. It'd take me a day and a half to write a long blog post, and it drained my energy. I was late on my blog posts all the time. I love writing, but not about, not those long form posts. And so I did the energy audit. I'm like, man, these long form blog posts are critical in our business. Someone's got to do them. No one else in the company can currently do them, but I got to stop doing them. And over here on the left side, it was like coaching and strategy. I love doing that stuff, but I was doing none of it. Okay. So I'm like, okay, well, we still need content. Can I just like start speaking the content? Because I love speaking the content. I love doing these webinars. I love doing interviews. Maybe I should start a podcast and I can start speaking content. And I just need to find someone over here to do these long form blog posts. And the person wasn't cheap. It was $1,000 a blog post I was paying, $1,000 blog post. Okay. But what I saw in my brain was I wasn't looking at the $1,000 as in, oh my gosh, that's $1,000 that I'm paying this person for a blog post and having them write 2 a month. $24,000 a year for blog posts. Crazy, right? It wasn't crazy, because what that did was that took those 7 hours a week that was draining my energy. It put them over into 7 hours a week in adding energy. It amplified everything else in my life. I was higher energy, happier, making a bigger impact, putting better things out. It far trumped the $1,000 a blog post I was paying on the other side. This is how you change your life. Do this every quarter. It's going to crush it. This is how I changed. This is how I finally solved my fitness issue. Okay. Gives me energy. Working out gives me energy. Working out, that was always in my energy audit every single time. For some reason, I would never circle it on the left side and say, I'm going to do that. I finally did that. And then I said, okay, what have I been doing in the past that wasn't working? I went to the gym. I got a trainer there, but it wasn't like a consistent one and whatever. So how do I 100% guarantee? How do I 100% guarantee that I will work out? Not like I'm going to set a goal to work out 3 days a week. I am going to 100% guarantee that I will work out 3 days a week if I'm in town. How do you do that? I said, okay, I'm going to eliminate all roadblocks from me working out. I'm not going to go to a gym. I'm going to have the person come here. The person come to my office or come to your house. They're going to come here 3 days a week. I'm going to pay them money to do that. So then I'm going to show up. I pay them $500 a month. Okay. I'm going to have some people do it with me. So I recruited 2 of my Carrot team members to do it with me. So there's accountability. Next, my gym is going to be in my office. So instead of paying the fees over there, I paid about $2,000 to go build a gym in my office. And not saying you have to do that. The first 2 months, first month and a half of working out, we didn't pay the $2,000. We got some kettlebells and some other things. And that was it. And the gym, I cannot get to my office in the morning without walking by where they're working out Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And I have it in the morning, not the afternoon. The afternoon crushed me because I would always find excuses why I wouldn't work out. Oh, I'm just going to do it tomorrow. I'm deep into this project. I drop my kids off at 8 o'clock. I come to the office. Therefore, the guy shows up at 8:15. Okay, so I eliminated every single thing getting in my way, all these excuses. And therefore, I just go, I live my normal life. I didn't have to change anything. Nothing changed the way that I was doing my life before. I would drop my kids off. I would come to my office. I would walk into my office, into my building. The only thing changed was the accountability, and the person was right there. Okay? So if there's something like that in your life, stop making that you can't do over and over again. Stop making goals to go, I'm going to try to do this year. I'm going to do this year. Okay? Flip it around. Go, this hasn't been working. How do I 100% absolutely guarantee this will work? Like not like 100% guarantee this is going to happen. No wavering. And then look through the mechanics. Okay, what's going to guarantee that I'm going to be there? What's going to guarantee this is going to happen? Okay, let's say you need to work through some of those goals. Hire a coach, pay the coach, have them come to your office or call you at a certain time. They will guarantee that you go through those things. Okay? Yeah, it's that stuff right there. It's just like that's a life hack I'm starting to do with other things in my life right now too. Okay. So this is reviewing this. I'm going to answer some questions really quickly here. I know this is a long call, y'all. Long call. Hopefully during this call, you guys have been able to do some of this activity already and hopefully start to shift your mindset. These calls are always long. I get kind of pumped up. I get kind of, I just love doing this stuff. And I love lighting people up. Every single year I have people a month, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months after this call, they come to me and say, man, that changed my year. That changed my life. And that's why I'm doing this. Okay. So I'm going to go through some of these. Jason says, just going through this right now, man. Yes, for sure, man. Let's do that. So I'm going to go here. I'm with you on that. So Jason says it would be nice if there was a search bar at the top of the podcast page. We're going to get it. We're going to get that there for sure. Okay, that's part of our roadmap for this next year. So there will be a search bar there. Where there is a search bar is over here on the side. So, I mean, I know that's not ideal. So, but we are going to get a search bar there. So right here is this one. So if you guys want to get this one, I'm going to send this through to you right now, Jason. There you go, my man. So that's the podcast on that. We actually have a follow-up podcast on the personal assistant one right here. So if you are looking at hiring an executive assistant, Jason, here's the follow-up. Here's part 2 to it, okay? So I just sent that through to you guys. So if you guys are looking at adding someone to the team, an assistant, an executive assistant, whatever, first listen to this one right here, 10x your productivity and income. Just go to oncarrot.com/blog. Then in the search bar, just type 10x, okay? And you're going to find that one. Okay, let's go there. Yep, for sure, Jason. Chris says there's no download for the organizing your day worksheet. Let me see what the deal is. Let me see. Epic Live. If it's not there, we will get it up on this page. Okay. Yeah, we'll get that up. I'm going to Slack Alex and my team to put it up right now, actually. Okay. So give me un momento and we'll get that up there. I know I've got it up. Let's see. There we go. Okay. So I found it. Daily sheet. So we will add it to the replay page. So make sure to check your email box. We'll add it to the replay page. Okay. But right here, I'm going to send this through to you right now, Chris. So that's that. So we will add the daily worksheet there, the daily productivity sheet. I actually got this book from the book, Developing the Leader Within. And I love it. I mean, that process just crushes it for me. Okay. So you guys have that now. I'm actually going to stop the screen share and show my screen again. Okay. Going through some more questions. Sweet. Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah, my first year focusing on having a planning day starting through webinar, you gain 9 weeks worth of work by saving yourself 7 hours a week, 9 weeks annually. That's right, man. It's crazy. Isn't it? Yep. Another person asked for the Organize My Day worksheet. So I'm going to send that through to you right now too. But like I said, we're going to get it inside of the replay page. So there will be a replay on this. You guys will be able to get this. We'll put all the documents over there. So I just sent it through there to you. Many thanks for the inspiration today. Awesome. We'll visit the replay. I had to jump off. Brian, client of ours says, dude, loving this call. I was heading down to Rocky Point in the next day or so to spend a couple days planning, but you've shared your framework that's way better than I was operating with. I dig your spirit, bro. Thanks, Brian in Phoenix. Man, that's awesome, dude. That's what this is about. That's what this is about. Sharing. It's helping each other through this process. Dude, Ed says, I want to become a student of your techniques and processes in addition to the Loft and call this, and in this call, do you offer any in-house classes? Ed is actually your local. So the Loft is our entrepreneur co-workspace. That's where I'm actually working out of right now. Is a loft. We have 8,000 square feet here. A little less than half of our Carrot team is here. Then we have some other amazing businesses. I don't, man. I don't have any other classes. Honestly, my focus is my family, our business, and my team. You know, and I've started to put some things in place to time block a lot better. But yeah, probably not going to be doing anything like that this year. You want to know the one thing that there is actually is this right here, y'all. I think it's up on this URL. Let me see. So we have an event that we started this last year called Carrot Camp. Okay, Carrot Camp. And Carrot Camp is the first ever live event we've ever done. We did it in October with a small group of people. And we're going to start doing it again. We're going to do 2 times a year. It's not cheap, okay? This last Carrot Camp was $3,000 ticket. We gave people 30 days notice, 35, 40 days notice. We had like 8 people come. They're all amazing people, all really highly successful, awesome people. And they're all here in Roseburg. So And your Carrot Camp tends to be a little bit more focused on real estate, but during the Carrot Camp, that's when we really open up all that stuff. So if you're a real estate investor, if you're a Carrot customer, real estate agent, whatever it is, and you want to enjoy Carrot Camp, you want to come in for 2.5, 3 days to Carrot HQ with a big hunk of our team, with 10 to 14 other amazing entrepreneurs who want to up-level your game and also have us help you dial in some of your marketing. Go to carrotcamp.com. carrotcamp.com, and it's going to take you to this page, and this page is going to be a little waiting list thingy, so put you on the list, and we're going to let you know we're going to be doing Carrot Camp in May and September. We're picking the dates here for this next week, but they will be in May and September out here in Roseburg. The tickets will be around that $3,000 to $5,000 range again, but it includes your hotel, includes all of your food once you're here, includes pretty much everything once you're here, and some other amazing things. And the value you're going to get, it's part mastermind, part implementation, part seen behind the scenes of what we do and being with us for 2.5 days straight. Okay. Those will sell out pretty quick. We're going to start marketing that in January. So get on the list. All righty. Cool. Next thing that I forgot to mention was every single year we have a promotion at the end of the year. So for Carrot customers or people who are looking to join Carrot, the software, we kind of give you a little bonus at the end of the year if you upgrade to annual or join at our annual plan. So make sure to, I think it's on the page here. Go to the live page. It should be on the page down below, right here, right here. So if you go down here, Carrot's annual promo, this ends December 31st at midnight. So if you click this, it's going to take you to a page where you're going to move your billing over to annual, where you save 20%. Actually, I'm not sharing my screen. I've got to share my screen. It's going to move you over to annual, where you're going to save 20% versus paying monthly. But then also we give you a cool gift. We're going to give you an Amazon Echo if you upgrade to Content Pro annual, if you're on Content Pro monthly right now, or if you want to join Carrot and you want to go to Content Pro annual, you're going to save 20% versus paying $99 a month, and you're going to get an Amazon Echo shipped to your door for free. Awesome, awesome, cool gadget. We got them in our office. If you are brand new, or you want to join Carrot, or you're on the advanced marketer plan, just go to the same link or hit up support. Go to our support or hit up the chat box and let me know if you're already in the advanced marketer plan. And if you upgrade to annual and advanced marketer, you're going to be able to get an Amazon Echo, the $100 gadget, shipped your way and save 20% versus paying monthly. And another cool bonus too. So go to oncarrot.com/gifts, or just go ahead and click that link below here on the exact page you're looking at right now, right there. And that way you can either upgrade to Content Pro annual, or you can join it advanced marketer annual. Okay. And if you have any confusion on it at all, just hit through the chat box and let us know, hey, I want to join Carrot advanced marketer annual or Content Pro annual. We'll give you the right link where you can go there and join Carrot. You'll get the bonuses. You'll get the 20% off versus paying monthly. You'll get the Amazon Echo as long as you do it before December 31st. If you're already a Carrot customer on a monthly plan or even annual plan, and you still want to take part in this thing, just pop through the little questions box or go to our support and say, hey, I'm in Content Pro monthly right now. How can I take advantage of this promotion? They'll send you the right link. Or, hey, I'm on advanced marketer annual already. Can I still get the Amazon Echo too, since I came in on advanced marketer 6 months ago? Cool, you totally can, but it's going to be even better for you. If you're already on an annual plan, just upgrade to the 2-year plan. So prepay for 2 years. But the cool thing is you're going to save 25% versus 20%, and you're going to get the free gift too. So it's a little bit confusing this year, and that's all my fault because there's so many different plans, and we kind of tried to finesse it. But that's all my fault. Try to put too many things in one promo. It's a good learning lesson. But if there's any confusion, hit up our support, and they can guide you towards the right ones. Make sure you do it before December 31st. All right. Cool. Any other questions? Great question, man. It says, what can I get for $50 a month? So $50 a month, if you are a real estate investor, of course, and you're looking to join Carrot, is this. So we have our core plan. And the thing here about Carrot, and this is kind of getting way off topic from the planning, but I'll answer your question. The thing that we focus on here at Carrot is we have more people that are the top investors in each market that have moved over to Carrot versus their custom site versus any of our competitors. They've moved over to Carrot because of performance. Our websites tend to convert a visitor into a lead higher. And if you Google sell my house fast, we buy houses, any of those phrases in any city in the country, you're going to see overwhelmingly Carrot clients dominate those rankings. It's not by accident. So we're by far not the cheapest on the market. we're upwards towards the most quote unquote expensive monthly rate, but we help our clients put the most money in their pocket at the end of the day because of that performance, because of our support structure, because of our tool set to help you rank better in Google, convert more visitors into leads, convert those leads into deals, and then have the coaching on the back end where we help you do that. So our core plan is only $49 a month. That gets you one of our high converting websites, gets you access to all of our innovation in there. And then if you wanted to bump it up and get 3 websites and get our SEO tools, you already get SEO tools, but if you want to get like tracking your SEO rankings, you want to get our weekly coaching calls. If you like this call, every single Tuesday at 11 o'clock Pacific time, we have a weekly coaching call. It's either me or Adrian. We drill into a very specific topic. We try to get you out of there in under an hour. Some of them are longer because of Q&A and stuff, but we have weekly coaching calls. We have a bunch of other features there. Most of our clients are on these 2 plans because you get more access to our team, more access to our coaching, which is going to help leverage that and be worth way more than the extra $50 a month. You get access to our content marketing system, our more robust SEO tools, and a bunch of other cool stuff. So, yep, check them out right over there. Oh, Bill says, looks like the webcast was cut off. It looks like some people are having it cut off on their end for a little bit of stuff. Sweet says, I'm not a Carrot customer, but use a competitor. Would I benefit from Carrot Camp? Yeah, you totally would. You would totally benefit from Carrot Camp. I think the biggest question I'd toss at you, though, is this. I mean, Luke Harris, who's on here, he's a client of ours, was using a competitor of ours. It was Leap Propeller, actually. And he switched over to Carrot, and he actually did a podcast with us just recently. And he did one with another guy, too, where he walked through how much extra results he got in his business once he switched over to Carrot. So if you're on another competitor, I would highly suggest you look at what your goals are for this next year to see if that's actually going to get you there. And if it's not going to get you there, we'd love to work with you. One thing that a lot of people say about Carrot is, man, there's already so many people in our market using Carrot. But one thing that we haven't done a good job with is letting people know about our concierge level services, where we can really help you dial in the look and feel of your website, so the visual of your website still uses what makes Carrot work, and you still get access to our tools and our training and our coaching, but you get a visual that just helps you stand apart. Like, this is a Carrot client that's crushing it. Okay, that doesn't look like most Carrot sites. Let's see. There's a billion of them I can show you. Tyler Ford, who's on this call, moved over from a custom WordPress site, was already ranking #1 in Google. Now is getting more leads and more deals with Carrot because he made the switch. The site's dialed in. It's crushing it for him. So if that's been your hesitation moving over to Carrot, because you want the higher performance, that the results we're helping people get overwhelmingly are better than anything else out there. If it's just the visual and standing apart, we can get you dialed in there for sure. We got you. All right. That's something we're passionate about. Yolanda, how easy is it to convert from Core to Content Pro if you start with Core? Very easy. It's just a click of a button, Yolanda. So if you want to, just reach out to our support and they can help you with that, or I can help you right here. But basically, once you upgrade, it's just a click of a button. You upgrade from Core to Content Pro. Immediately when you do, it unlocks all those extra features, and it unlocks our weekly coaching call. So you're going to immediately get access to our weekly coaching call, which is every Tuesday. You're going to be able to launch 2 more sites if you want to. If you want to do land buying or whatever it is, multifamily, whatever. You're going to get access to our more robust SEO tools. You're going to get access to our content marketing system, which the content marketing system is something that is very, very underrated. But let's say you want to do weekly blog posts for credibility and stuff like that. You hop over here and you just, like, let's say I want to go after people that are holiday tax tips and for house sellers. You come over here, you can look at these articles, our system spins them. Our competitors have actually emulated and copied this feature because it works so well. We started this 3 years ago, actually. We're the first one in the industry that we found to be able to do this. Any that we found anyway. For sure the first in real estate, even before Playster and those other companies. We did this years before them. And then you can say, hey, we want to do it there. We're going to launch it here every single week, add that. And our system's going to automate those blog posts for you. It's going to spin them for your local city. It's going to make your URLs specific to your city. It's going to put your company name in those, all that kind of stuff. Yep. So you'll get access to all that stuff right there. Do you do one-on-one sessions for business planning? Being a solo entrepreneur, it's often easy to get stuck when trying to do this type of planning. Man, I don't personally, but there's some great resources for it. Oh man, one thing I definitely will toss your way is I'm not sure if he's still doing it. Best year ever. So Michael Hyatt has a course called Your Best Year Ever, and I think it's a few $100. I'm not even sure if it's for sale anymore. They sold it last week, and so it's off until next year. So Best Year Ever, that doesn't help you much right now. The One Thing podcast. The One Thing is a great podcast. Or, man, there's this book. Let me grab it real quick. I believe that this book right here, called The Advantage, it walks through some really good process on that stuff. So The Advantage is a great book there. But yeah, it's not something that I personally do one-on-one sessions. I would love to be able to do that. I just honestly don't have the capacity to do it, the time at this moment. Okay. Kevin says, great presentation. Awesome, man. Thank you. Sweet says, hey T, can you explain your view on setting goals and why most people don't achieve them? And man, that's a great question, DJ. DJ, highly successful investor, entrepreneur. I actually met DJ in person. Shoot, I don't know, when was it, dude? 7-8 years ago, probably up in Seattle when you lived up there, and now he's down in California. Man, so DJ's question: how can you explain your view on setting goals and why most people don't achieve them, dude? I think there's a couple things. One of the things that pops up in my mind right now, and this is just relating to me, is, gosh, it goes back to the whole vision story, right? I know when I wasn't achieving my goals, the goals I was writing down when were like vanity kind of things, where I knew that I had to write goals down, therefore I did, but they didn't connect with a greater vision that excited me. So if I would get midway through the year and I didn't achieve that goal, or if I didn't gain momentum on it, I would literally rip it off the wall and throw it in the garbage because it frustrated me. But now that doesn't happen because I'm so excited about this greater vision, this vision that's beyond the year, this vision that stretches out 5, 10, 20 years, like it's legacy stuff, right? So I think it's really easy to give up on your goals if your goals are just for the year, if they don't connect with a greater vision that excites you, right? Because if you can see yourself, oh, shoot, if I don't do that this year, I can't live that life in 5 years and 10 years and 20 years, then that locks me into where I go do that. The next thing is I think people don't believe they can actually achieve them. Like it kind of goes back to that self-doubt thing that I was talking about a little bit ago, that people don't believe they can achieve them. For some reason, they don't believe that they can be as great as other people believe that they can be. Okay. So they set these goals knowing they should set goals, but in their mind, they find all these ways to sabotage themselves subconsciously because they don't really believe they're worthy, or they don't believe that they can do them. Right. So that's something that I did, for several years before Carrot. Like, so we always maxed out at like $500,000, $750,000 in revenue. And I couldn't figure out why. And there were a few things. Business model was a big part of it. But another part of it too was, for some reason, I had this block that I couldn't build a business that would do $10 million a year. That I couldn't build a business that would be doing $100 million or worth $100 million, whatever it was. Like for some reason, I didn't think that was me, right? So I've had to think bigger and get around bigger people, and that leads into number 3. I think you're around the wrong people. Okay, so, and I'm not talking DJ. DJs are around the right people. I'm talking in general. I think another reason people don't achieve the goals is they set them and then they don't have that accountability and that network, that those people to help bring you up when you're down. Here at the Loft, our co-workspace, we have a monthly mastermind. It's the very first Wednesday of each month at 11:30, 90 minutes. Those of us who work here in the office, not the Carrot members, because we meet every day, but the other people who rent from me, all these people I've selected to be in here, to be around me, that are awesome entrepreneurs. Seth Bueckley, who's one of my mentors and coaches, just sold his company a year ago. They did 60 million in revenue. That type of person is in here. And so we get together and we all help each other, hold each other accountable, bring each other up, have a coach, so I think that's 3. The first one is, whatever that was. The second one is you don't believe in it. You don't believe you can actually achieve it. The third one is you're not around the right people on a continual basis. Just in my mind. Great question, man. Yes. Jeff says, thanks. Awesome framework. Do you hire people in remote locations? 100% we do right now. Right now we're hiring some roles right now. If you go to oncarrot.com /careers. And we're going to be hiring probably 5 people between now and April. So go to oncarrot.com /careers. And we're hiring on our customer support team right now. And we're just looking for the best people we can find from anywhere. And we're 16 full-time people now. I think 6 or 7 of us are in Oregon. 5 of us, I think, are here in Roseburg. And then, oh shoot, maybe 8 or 9 of us are in Oregon now, but maybe more. I don't know. But we have 3 people in Dallas, Pete's over in Baltimore, Adrian's in North Carolina. And we're actually having our team retreat. So just to show you, we kind of eat our own dog food with this. I know we're running way long, but I'll answer your guys' questions for the next. Let me check my schedule. Make sure I'm not like running up against something. Let me make sure. Okay, I've got a little bit of time, so I'll answer questions for the next 15 to 20 minutes, and I got to bounce. We eat our own dog food, right? So we go through and we do our annual planning. We then go through and quarterly, we pull out a few hours. So each team lead comes and refreshes their plan for the quarter. And then the team leads get together and say, hey, we looked at the roadmap. We looked at our priorities. We adjusted things. Here's what we're tackling this quarter. Here's what's important. Cool. And our KPIs actually track whether we're on progress with those. Awesome. We're good to go there now. But then what we do is to get re-energized, because momentum, right? Going back to momentum is so important. We fly everyone in twice a year. So twice a year, our whole team gets flown in. They're going to be here in our offices that whole week during retreat week. And then we're going to drive up to Bend, Oregon, which is about a 3-hour drive away up in the mountains where the snow is. We've got a big old huge house up there. We're the Carrot team then for 2 days. So we're going to be closed support-wise, except for email support for 2 days. That's happening in 2 weeks, not next week, but the week after. We're going to be pulling away, bonding as a team, really making sure we're on pace. Our sights are set for the next 6 months, next year to crush it. Great question. Ron, for sure, man, says, thank you so much for your time and help today. Man, I love doing this stuff, like I said. Steve Johnson, for sure, dude. Bunch of people just saying thank you. This is great. This is awesome. I want to go through this again to plan our future 2018. Beautiful. I love it. From Mesa, Arizona. The essence of life is growth. Mindset is everything. Yep. I'm going to write out my vision story now. I'm super pumped. Okay. Let me go up to the top. Okay. How is the training from Strategic Coach still helping you? Great question. So to give people some context here, and like I said, I'm going to just, the training is done now. Training done. Let me know what gaps I didn't fill, and I'll get you guys that stuff. So we'll get you all the downloads. We'll get you guys the downloads to the slides on the replay page. So make sure you're opted into our list, and you're going to get an email here tonight or tomorrow on the replay page. But I'll just answer anything you guys throw at me now. Okay. So how is the training from Strategic Coach still helping you? So Strategic Coach is a program to give people context. In that period in my life, 2011, 10, 11, 12, when doing okay financially, right? I was netting into the 6 figures a year. Awesome, man. Sweet, Jeff. I was netting into the 6 figures a year. It's like, man, from the outside in, I think everything looked peachy, right? And I'm not going to say that I was, okay, life was great. Okay. Amazing family. Everyone's healthy, good income, good friends, like great, like all that, like life was amazingly great. For some reason, it wasn't between my ears. Okay. So that was the whole issue, right? Between my ears, the perspective I was coming at life with. And I joined this program called Strategic Coach. It's not cheap. I think at the time it was like $6 or $7 grand a year. And then you had to fly into Chicago or let me find it. The Strategic Coach, for the high end part of it's like 20 or 25K a year, kind of like a mastermind, but not really, right? So you're going to be there with 15, 20 other entrepreneurs, not real estate, but like all different types of entrepreneurs. But then the higher price you pay, the higher the level of the person is. So you just kind of, it's the same program, whether you're paying $6 grand a year or 20, exact same program. The only thing that changes is the 20K a year, you actually work with Dan Sullivan. The other ones you don't. And then 20K a year, it's everyone who's netting over $1 million a year. So you're just around a different type of person. But the question that Frenchie said is, how is the Strategic Coach still helping me today? Well, I think the biggest thing, Frenchie, is Strategic Coach forced me to get away quarterly. Because before that, I wasn't getting away quarterly, okay? And when you have to fly in somewhere and pay money to fly in, pay money for a hotel, for a one-day meeting, Strategic Coach was 1 day each quarter, okay? But I had to fly and I had to fly a day there and then the travel day back. So it was 3 full days. It started creating that quarterly practice for me. Okay. Because kind of like I talked before, I think people take the year and make it too big of a chunk, and it needs to be broken down by quarters. So you can really tackle that quarter and go, okay, here's my mission this quarter. And this quarter leads into these annual goals and leads into my annual vision, which leads into my life vision and stuff like that. So I can just compartmentalize this quarter now. And so that was the big thing. It created that practice. The next thing was unique ability. One of the biggest reasons I joined Strategic Coach, Frenchie, was kind of going back to that energy audit process that I showed you before. This right here. This wasn't from Strategic Coach. I developed this a couple of years ago. But I just developed this document like 4 months ago to actually codify this so other people could do it. Because I wasn't teaching other people how to do the energy audit before. It was just something I was just doing because it worked for me. But so basically what was happening was during that time of my life, I was once again, 85% of my time was in stuff that was draining my energy. Okay. And I'm going back to this. 85% of my time was draining my energy. 15% was giving me energy. So I was looking like, how can I find what I'm uniquely gifted to do that I love doing that gives me energy? Because that's what life is about. That's what I want to do in business. I don't want to be making a bunch of money over here and being miserable. Okay. It's not what life's about. So I went there and went through their process, and it helped me to hone in on my unique abilities. Okay. Now I didn't solve it right then, but this one question this lady asked me set me on the path, and this might help you. Was I was having such a hard time with unique abilities because I was looking at it as, what are the things that I'm really good at that make me money, right? And those things were marketing, execution, writing emails, just doing the marketing execution stuff is what made me money. I was pretty darn good at it. You know, people would say, hey, he's a good marketer. Okay. But I hated marketing execution. I love the strategy. Like I love strategy. I love coaching. I love this. I love inspiring people. I love that stuff. I hate the follow through and the execution on it. It drags my energy. But I was doing like all execution and follow through and very little of the stuff that gave me energy. So she said this one question, and it said, unique ability isn't just what you're good at, isn't just what you're great at. You can be great at things that you hate and that drag your energy. Unique ability is what you're great at. You could potentially be world-class at if you worked at it, but you get more energy when you're done doing those things than when you started. You get more energy. Those create energy, and you have more energy when you're done than when you started. So if you can start to catalog those and think about those things and write those things down, what gives you more energy when you're done than when you started? That's the stuff you need to be focusing more of your time on. So that's the biggest thing, Frenchie, that I've carried forward this year for sure. Good question. Awesome. Says from, let's see. Natalie, what's up? Natalie from Roseburg says, this information is invaluable. Thank you for taking the time to do this webinar. This will set the stage for successful 2018, I'm sure, but I love it. I love it. Cool. That's awesome. Michael Borger, long time amazing client of ours, says, just sign up for Dan Sullivan's Strategic Coach Mentorship Program at 10K to get clarity on my goals and take back my time. Yeah, same program, man. So, dude, that's amazing move, dude. And it's probably the similar the one that I was in. Like I said, I was in it way back when, so it was like 6,000 or 6,900 or something. So, dude, it's worth it. It's worth it. And whatever it is, I mean, whether it's Strategic Coach or whether it's getting a coach or whatever, it's like, I don't know. I mean, I'm going to toss this out at you guys, right? I've got an amazing flaw in my life. Okay, amazingly huge flaw. That flaw leaches into like all parts of my life. It's something I don't like. It's something that's there that I always try to work on, but I haven't been able to master. I'm still not giving up on it because I hate saying, hey, well, that's just me. I can't change it. Because I've done that in the past where I said I'm a messy person. I always want to have my drawer messy and stuff. I changed that. I just had a mindset shift in a moment and I changed it. So I think I can change this too. But that massive flaw that I've got is honestly accountability. Like I think a lot of you guys would look at me and go, man, that dude's where I want to be or whatever it is. I mean, if you were to tell me 5, 6, 7 years ago that I would have the business that we have at Carrot, that we'd have the team that we have at Carrot, that we have the amazing clients that we have, that we would have penetrated this market the way that we did by solving the problem the better than anyone else. And the byproduct of all of that and having fun in business and doing it the right way and having a mission is that, you know, we make millions a year. Like the millions a year wasn't the goal. The millions a year was the byproduct of doing all that other stuff. If you would have said like that was what my life was going to be like, I wouldn't have believed it. But the reason I'm saying this is I wouldn't have believed it because I could never follow through on anything. I could never follow through on anything. I would start 12 things and have 12 things halfway finished and halfway mediocre. Then I'd move on to the next. And what it took for me was I didn't have the willpower. I didn't have the willpower to be able to sit there and say, okay, I'm finally going to overcome this myself. I said that 1,000 times. I said it 1,000 times. I'm going to finally overcome this fitness thing. I'm going to do this. I'm going to finally do this. I'm going to finally do this year. I'm going to wait till the new year to have a New Year's resolution for fitness. And this year is going to be my new year. Or this year is going to be the year that I finally am happy in my business. Or I'm finally doing this. I'm finally doing that. And you notice the verbiage there was I. Like, I am going to do this. I was so solo in everything that I was doing. I thought that I had to do all that stuff. And as soon as I started asking for help, like as soon as I started surrounding myself with the right people, and as soon as I joined a mastermind, I joined a mastermind that changed my life in 2012. Is because the guy who was leading it. That was the only reason I joined. I paid $20,000 that year to join a mastermind so I could surround myself with a guy that I already knew, and I could already call on the phone. But I wanted to know him more and be around him more because he seemed like he had the life that I wanted. I paid 20 grand that year to do that, which was probably like almost 20% of my net income that year. I had a lot higher net income 3-4 years before that. I was hitting the slump mentally, which dragged down my income as well. It wasn't 20%, it's probably 15% of it. So I asked for help there, and then I asked for help with Strategic Coach, and I did it with 2 of my good buddies who were doing amazingly well in business. And then what happens? That starts to lead into other parts of life. Well, I ask for help in business now. I get a business partner. And then we start to go and I do the energy audit and I do this and go, well, I don't want to do that and I can't do that. I'm going to ask for help there. I get an assistant. Okay. And then it's like, well, I can't follow through here very well. It's really against my natural tendencies. I'm working on it, but okay, I'll ask for help. I get other people. I hire other people. So I just want to throw this out at you guys that this isn't about you. This isn't about you doing all this. Just like Michael said, he's trying to get more clarity on his goals and take back his time. It's something he's got the full capacity. He's a smart dude. He's got this full capacity to do it and know everything that requires to do that. But for some reason, I couldn't go and actually implement that stuff myself without the accountability. I needed someone to guide me through it, hold my hand, and make sure that I actually put my money where my mouth is, fly in there, go through the process, do it with some friends so we could riff off of each other and we could go through the journey together and make it happen. So if that's you, take that leap. Take that leap and ask for help. Take that leap and find someone who can do it with you. It doesn't have to be $20,000 a year. It doesn't have to be $10K a year like Michael's doing Strategic Coach. It could literally be like the Loft Entrepreneur Co-workspace. People who work here pay $400 to $500 a month in rent. They get to work in an amazing space. We meet once a month for 90 minutes and more than that usually when we're connecting with stuff. And let me share this story with you, and then I'm going to answer questions and we're going to bounce. This is how fast things can change when you get the right process, surround yourself with the right people, and expand your mindset. Right process, right people, expand your mindset. October, what was it? It was November, the first Wednesday of November. Let me stop sharing this. Okay. The first Wednesday of November. And I'm going to share this. Hopefully it's okay to say it publicly. I'm not sure if you're watching this or not, Cody. But the first Wednesday of November, a couple of my good friends and Loft tenants were in there at our mastermind that day. It was me, Seth, amazingly successful guy. Now he's my coach. And then Brian Prowitz, who we helped inspire him to start his own business a few years ago. He moved into the Loft and he's doing really well. We were all sitting there and we always start with, hey, let's share your successes and what you're struggling on this past month. Those 2 guys, Cody and Trent, started. What their business is they're a filmmaking company that like basically does content for big hunting brands. They're bow hunters. They're backcountry bow hunters is what they do. Okay, Cody came into our fold a few years ago. We inspired him to take a leap from his job, went full-time in what he does, moved into the Loft. And that's part of what fires me up about what I do. Because now his family and Trent and other people are now inspired. And it's creating this ripple effect, right? And so they were doing it. And they just couldn't catch momentum with their revenue, with their business model. And it's kind of boom and bust. They'd sell a bunch of money in sponsorships, go fulfill, do the content, and then they wouldn't have money again. And we walk into this on that Wednesday in November, and they just got back from this massive content project. 50 days, traveled 5 states, and hunted in 5 states. And they had this amazing thing sponsored by a bunch of big hunting brands. And they said, you know what? We're tired. We've just been gone for 50 days. We got back last week. We've got this project. Now we filmed it all. Now we've got to edit it. And our thing is we're going to release a new movie, basically a 25 to 50-minute video every day for the next 50 days, tracking our progress and our journey on that hunt with these other influencers and this whole thing. Like, they had this cool mission behind it. It wasn't just hunting. And so they were stressed out, and you could tell they were tired. They were stressed out. They just got done being away from their families, and now they're going to be tucking away doing these movies every day for 50 days. They're like, oh my gosh, life sucks. And the kicker, they had $3,000 in their bank. So they were looking at this going, okay, we've got to fulfill on these videos because we already sold all the sponsorship. We've got to fulfill on this project. We might be out of money in our bank account before the project is done. We might have to go back and get jobs. And if they would have not been in this environment, if they would have not been able to hear what Seth and I and Brian said to help them shift their mindset, think bigger, put a process in place, they today may be looking for jobs. But fast forward, let me show you what actually happened. That day, we said, "Come, you guys aren't getting jobs. You guys are amazing at what you do. You guys inspire people. You guys have a big following. You need to create a business and launch a business during this project." And I threw a big number at him, like a big number, bigger than he ever thought that they could do. And he said that. And you could tell he didn't believe it. They didn't believe. This goes back to the start. They had a limitation on what they believed they could actually do and who they actually were. We helped block that. We helped get rid of that for them. And I said, man, during this next month, come from scratch, guaranteed you can do 50,000 new revenue in a way that makes you guys insanely happy, fulfilled, and inspires your audience. He didn't believe it because their highest revenue month before was like 6,000 or 7,000, except for sponsorships. Okay. They ended up doing like 120, 130, 140,000 revenue in like 45 days. 70 something thousand of that came in one weekend. All they did was execute like 4 things that I asked them to do, but he executed. I would text him, say, dude, change this on your page, do this, change that. They changed it. The results went up. I said, dude, your audience loves you guys. You guys are inspiring them. Do this, get this in their hands. They want that. They want to relate with you. They did that. They created the products. They hustle. All that we did was gave them the inspiration, made them think bigger. We believed what they didn't believe. We gave them a framework to execute, and then they went and executed. So now what happened during that 45 days? Their mindset is expanded. They now are looking at 2018 in a much bigger way than before. 2 months ago, they're looking at it as, I don't know what we're going to do. We might have to go get jobs. Today, they're possibly looking at buying a company. They're thinking way bigger. Their families believe in the dream now. Okay. And that's what this is all about, y'all. That's what this is all about. Okay. Once again, the whole moral of that story was if they try to do it themselves, they couldn't have had the results that they got. Get around the right people. Get a coach, get a mentor, whatever it is. Okay. And use this process we've given you to have that be a jump start for you. All right. Answer any questions here. Sweet. This is awesome. I want to go through Lucia. This is awesome. I want to go through this again. Plan our future 2018. One more quick thing. Yep. Says this is awesome, but seems like my team may be overwhelmed with the detailed process. Anything you can recommend we do to make sure we grasp this planning process simply, not miss anything. And that's honestly a great bit of feedback, because that's something that as we're going through this newer version ourselves in our team with the bigger team, we're having some of those things too. We're like, oh shoot, that wasn't clear. Let's try to add that clarity, and let's add that clarity. So even us on our end, we don't have that nailed. Like 100% our team would say we waded through the process this year, but it wasn't perfect, and we're going to make it better this next year. But what I would say to break it down, Lucia, is this. Let me try to get rid of the slides here. Let's see. Okay. So let me see if I can break it down. That's probably something I should have done here a bit ago. So number one, this is what I would do right here, Lucia, is you got to make sure, first of all, to set those things in front of your team to get those mindset practices in place. Okay. Are there things in your offices you need to put in place? Is there a theme for the year? Whatever it is, got to get the mindset stuff taken care of because all the structure isn't going to work without it. Okay. So think up 1 or 2 or 3 things you can do between either the next 2 weeks to help cast a vision to your team, to get them excited and to change the environment. If they don't work in the same office, cool. Like send them things in the mail. These quote boxes or these quote canvases that we send out, we sent our team those in the mail. Okay. So like location doesn't matter. Just surround your team with those things. Okay. The next thing to break it down would be there needs to be the vision written, the vision story. Without the vision story, honestly, none of the other stuff's going to matter. So that if the vision story isn't written for the business and for you personally and for your life, like don't go have your team go away and write vision stories for their life, like right now as a part of this process. Maybe have them do that, challenge them with that later, you know, for the life, but you need to do that for your own life since you own the company, I'm assuming. And then you guys need to create a vision story as a company. Okay. Our vision story, like I said, it's just a Google document. It's a Google Drive document. I sat down and I said, okay, where are we at now and where did we come from? You know, what was it that led us to where we are? Here's where we started. Here's the humble beginnings. Here's where we struggled. Here's where we had wins. Here's what finally cracked through. There's what, okay, now fast forward to today. Cool. Your team can now read that and have appreciation for where you came from. And then next, go through your 5-year vision. Where do I want the company to be in 5 years with product, with revenue, with people, with processes, with, you know, that kind of stuff. Okay. So get that written. That's your number one homework. If that's not written, then none of the other stuff's gonna matter. All right. And then next, all I would do is I would do this just to simplify this. Let me type this down here. I'm not sure if you can see this. Under the planning part of it, set aside time. So planning. Okay. So number one, set aside time. So 1 to 2 days, ideally. And then what we need to do, let me stretch this out. This might look terrible on the computer screen. Let's see. Okay. All right. So set aside the time. So that's an action item right there. Then the next thing is review and reflect on the year. What did we do? Let's celebrate wins. What did we not achieve? Why did that happen? Okay. Next is cast, expand mindset. And next, so what would our business look like or our income look like or whatever it is if we had to 10x our income? Write down those things. Talk about it. Have fun over it. What would our business look like if we 10x our people? Okay, whatever it is. If we 10x our number of deals, as an example, and you're gonna go, well, shoot, there's no way we could do, 500 deals with our current processes. So we definitely have to dial this in. Okay, cool. That you're getting somewhere. Write that down. Okay, so expand the mindset. Think bigger. Think way bigger. And then we're gonna start to drill it down. Then what are the goals? So set the goals for 2018. So financial. Goals. If your goals don't embarrass you or make you scared, probably not big enough. Going into this year, we had set a goal that was the biggest leap that we'd had, but still, it seemed very linear and very achievable. After we got done, me and Alex on my team, we talked and we're like, man, that's not big enough. Like, we're not going to have to fundamentally change the way we do some things in order to reach that. We'll just have to like do a little bit better than what we're currently doing. So the current goal, I've wavered even in the past 3 weeks to a month. I've wavered and even thought, hey guys, maybe we should like bump it back down to X. That's a good sign. That's a good sign. If you're starting to waver a little bit, like you still believe you can do it, you can do it if all these things fall into line. But you're like, maybe like we should just bump it down here. Like it should be achievable. It should be something you're scared. Okay. So the goals for that year, and then what do we need to add? People, process, right? So just do a basic, quick. I'm not even gonna put SWOT. I'm just gonna do opportunities and threats. Just that's a 10, 15, 20, 30-minute chat. What could threaten our business, and what are the biggest opportunities that we've got? Okay, and then we're just like, this all builds off of each other. Like, so this is a 2-day process. This isn't a 2-hour process. Because you've got to pull away and let some of this think in. This right here is literally day 1. Okay, that stuff's day 1. This is all day 2. So then once you're done with that, what do we need to add? People, processes to actually accomplish this stuff. Okay, and then we do, you know, how do we theme it basically? Theme, you know, so it's like, what are the core focus areas to achieve? And then create visuals to, there you go. So then right there, and that's kind of, I should probably create a slide that does this a little bit better, but so does that, Lucida, does that make it a little bit better and simpler? So set aside some time, 1 to 2 days, ideally 2 days. This right here is day 1. Okay. This is day 2. And then this is after the retreat. Okay. So this is after the retreat. This is after whatever your planning is. So that's day 1. Enjoy it. Have fun with it. Be critical. Be celebratory. Day 2, let all that marinate. We're going to set goals. Okay, where do we want to go now? Like, where are we going this year, guys? Like, what's big? What should we shoot for? Talk about it. Be scared. Challenge people's assumptions. Okay, and then go. Okay, awesome. In order to do that, what do we got to do? Like, so what do we need to do? Right? Are there people or gaps that we need to fill? Are there processes we need to improve? Are there projects that we need to do that are going to lead into those goals? And then after all that, okay, after all this, what's our theme? You know, what is our theme for that year? And then pick those, you know, 3 to 5 core focus items, or some people call them big rocks or big chunks. Like, if those were the things that you focused on and that was it, those would help you be successful. And those are the ones you cannot forget. And those are the ones that every single month and every quarter you look at and go, okay, what are we doing this month to lead into one of those core focus items? That's like this right here for us, right? So going to this, our core focus items, every single month, we had to make sure we're recruiting, doing things to recruit and retain the right people, doing things to own content marketing, real estate, both software and our content. Every single month, we had to make sure there were projects and initiatives on data and testing. Every single month, we had to make sure that we were doing things to empower our team and make it, you know, even better to work at Carrot. And every single month, we had to try to find ways to inspire and impact our community. All right. So yeah, that's a great question, because I did kind of throw a lot at you. Yeah, let me know, Lucia, if that simplifies it a little bit for you. Yeah, Jeff says, inspirational, amazing how similar the goal setting and tools like SWOT analysis are to the engineering consulting firm I used to work for. Dude, the thing is, like, most of this stuff's not new, right? It's kind of you just have to find what works for you, kind of. Because I've seen a million different planning processes and a million different things. The thing is, I think where people make the mistake is they see the planning process in a vacuum. They think, if I just go through this process, that's going to save my, that's going to make my year amazing. This process is only as good as the rest of this stuff, right? That planning process is only as good as this. Like, if your mindset sucks, your planning process isn't going to do anything for you. If you don't have a clear vision on where you want to go in your life, the planning process is just planning to go nowhere faster. Okay. And then this is where the planning process kicks in. So that's where myself and most other people miss it, is they see the process, they see the SWOT, all that stuff's awesome, but it's kind of like computers. Computers are only as good as the information you put into them. A planning process is only as good as the information you put into them. And if the information you put into them is not inspired by what actually matters in life, then what's going to go in there is either superficial stuff that isn't actually going to make you happy or make an impact, or stuff that's more urgent, you know? All right, let me answer a couple more questions. Good, guys. Chris says this 1 to 2 day breakdown is awesome. So what I'll do is I'll take this and work this into my slides. And when we upload this, I'll make this a slide that breaks it down better. Okay. That's a great question. Thank you guys for that, because oftentimes it's hard when it's your thing that you created. You can be in your head, and the same thing happened with my team. You know, there's some people who are a lot more analytical, and they just didn't connect with the process as much. So we had to go through and adjust some things. We're making it better, but this right here for sure. I'm glad. Thank you guys for that feedback. Okay, last question here. Bruno says, hey, Trevor, random question. I'm interested in becoming a beta tester for the agent care portion. If you're willing to have me, I've loved Investor Carrot so far, and I'm continuing to work on it and believe Agent Carrot would be a great addition for us too. Let me see this, man. I think. Let me just send this your way, dude. And we're very close to rolling out of beta. Okay. So this should get it for you right there, Bruno. Okay. The team's working on IDX right now and some other big updates we've already rolled out. So that's something we're going to be heavily focusing on 2018 is the agent side of things. Yeah. So I just sent you through the link. Check it out. That might be what you need. All right. Sweet. Well, guys and gals, I'm going to bounce. Thank you very much for, one last one here, David. David says, great question, man. David says, give me one tangible marketing item I should pursue in 2018. Is it mailers, email, texting, what? Man, that's a great question. I mean, it's really a broad question, right? Because like you could ask me the same, you know, I could ask you the same thing, or I could ask another software company owner the same thing. Hey, what's the one marketing thing I should do in 2018? It all depends. I mean, it depends on your market. It depends on the type of leads you're going after. It depends on your ability to implement that or your budget to do that. As far as overall, like if I were to say, hey, what does data show and what do our top clients show is working the best? Direct mail, of course, has softened. It always softens in a competitive market. So people are having a lot harder time cracking through with direct mail in really competitive markets. Their cost per lead is skyrocketed, and they have to send out more mailers. Now, I'm not going to say that doesn't work. Like there's people still crushing it with direct mail, especially in certain markets. I can tell you that some of our top clients are doubling down on online. I can tell you that for sure. One of the biggest home buyers in Phoenix just emailed me recently. He's like, man, direct mail has been my bread and butter for years. And he goes, I'm getting crushed there right now. Cold calling. So if you're a real estate investor or agent, cold calling right now is crushing it. Okay. Any lead generation you're doing, you want to double down on something marketing wise. This isn't probably the sexy thing you're looking for. Anything lead generation you do in 2018, reply as fast as you can humanly possibly do it. And we're going to be building some things into our system and some integrations to help you reply back to your phone call and online opt-in leads, like literally within seconds or minutes. Phone call replies, like good, cool stuff. Okay. We're going to be working with one of our clients, actually, Ryan, on doing some of that beta testing some stuff here shortly. So reply back as soon as possible because there's more competition than ever. So your prospect, if you don't answer back in 5 minutes or 30 minutes or an hour, they've probably gone on to someone else. And now there's another voice in the conversation to compete against. Next thing is direct cold calling. Targeted lists is crushing it for people. Like I'm talking that almost everywhere. Most people don't want to do it, but it's working. And a lot of the guys are doubling down on online. Yeah, really. So we're seeing a lot of people double down on SEO. Right now, Martin, the guy there in Phoenix, said, I'm doubling down on online and I'm also expanding my markets. He's going to double down on SEO because finally he's a believer. He wasn't for a while, but then they've been executing the plan. He had his VA showing up on our coaching calls. We've been coaching him through some stuff, and he's ranking #1 in Google for a lot of phrases in Phoenix now. He's getting a good stream of leads and deals that way. So he said, I'm going to expand it out. That's what we're seeing, man. Direct mail soften, still do it if it's getting an ROI, but stop it if it's not. Cold calling, specialized lists, finding ways to follow up and reply back is even faster than you currently already are. Building your credibility on your website and in your marketing, because there's a lot of competition for people to choose between. So now that you need to double down on your credibility. And then last, expand your online marketing, because that's where the market's been moving for a while, and that's where a lot of people are heading. Great question. Okay, good. Glad it helped. Yep, that was recorded too, Lucia. Lucia says, thank you so much. Hope this part was recorded too. Bless you and having a happy new year. Awesome. Chris, thanks from Chris in Phoenix. Thanks for reminding me just how much I've gotten off track with vision Goal setting and mindset for focus. Well, let's leave it at that right there, because those last parts are the biggies. Gotta have a clear vision, y'all. Don't even start your annual planning unless you pull back and start to write a vision story. 20 years, 10 years, 5 years, and then a year. Okay, and go back to this part of the call that walks through how I do that. And then next, surround yourself with the things that are going to help you be inspired. All right, guys and gals, have an amazing rest of the week. This is probably the longest epic planning call that I've done to date, like the third or fourth one. But you know what? It's a blast. I enjoy the time. There were hundreds of people on the call between Facebook and YouTube, and there's going to be probably over 1,000 people watching this on the replay. And this is what lights me up. This is why I do what I do. Right after this, I'm going to be pulling away, wrapping some of my own planning stuff, honestly. Going to be cleaning up my office. That's one thing I always try to do whenever I get kind of feeling like I'm slightly overwhelmed, is I like try to tidy up a little bit. So I need to clean up my office a tad. All the Christmas things that people are sending and stuff, I need to get rid of the boxes. And you know what? I'm going to go back and this weekend before the new year, going to read my vision story. And I suggest all you guys do the same thing. Open it up and read your vision story. Get inspired by your own story more than you're inspired by others. All righty. Have an amazing time, y'all. We'll get all the downloads on the replay page. And I love you guys. Thank you. Go crush it. We'd love to be a part of what you're doing in 2018. See ya.